Hey everybody, Steve here. I just wanted to give a quick, video and thank everybody for their prayers. I hope people are praying for me. Just haven't been feeling good today either. I had to pump myself with a ton of vitamins and stuff because I just had this debilitating, between the headaches and the debilitating fatigue. I just can't shake it. It's like you can't think. It's terrible. And pain and all sort of stuff, and stomach issues and whatever. But it's just what I've been dealing with for months and months and months now, coming and going. So it could be thyroid stuff. I need the thyroid meds again. It could be, I have high cholesterol, all that stuff. I haven't. I'm trying to see the doctor. I'm waiting for now December 7th. God willing, they don't cancel again, so I can get things rectified. But anyway, I wanted to tell you, I get. Whatever. If you believe me, then you believe me. If you don't, whatever. I don't know what to say. I know I'm an unusual person, but I had another prophetic type dream. It was weird because I had gotten up at 8 o'clock this morning, made Donna and I breakfast, whatever. We had a nice breakfast, and then all of a sudden around like 10, 11 o'clock, I just got extremely fatigued and I had to run to bed right away. I'm like, Donna, I just need to lay down for a few minutes. I don't know what's up. I'm going to pass out. So I laid down. And I started falling asleep, and I had this very vivid dream. I can't remember exactly the whole first part of it, but here's the thing. This is like the second or third time in my life where I suddenly just got extremely tired. It's like the third time now where I got extremely tired out of nowhere and had to go take a nap. And when I took a nap, I had a dream that actually happened. Or something, it was like prophetic. I get like prophetic dreams once in a while. I can't explain it. It shows me what's going to happen in the future or a warning or whatever. Well, I get them a lot actually, but I haven't had them in about a year, right? Well, today I had one, and I'm a little nervous about this one. It was, I don't understand the whole thing. I was with all these people. I didn't recognize anybody. I was in this like place. It looked almost like a cafeteria or something, maybe a seminary, something. And everybody's wearing their masks and trying to social distance. And here I am, I'm standing around. I don't know what I was doing there, but I was at a table. Nobody was there. And I had my mask on, I think. And I was trying to be respectful and stay away from people. And next thing you know, I look and there's these two guys sitting like right in front of me, like right in front of me. And I'm like, dude, there's a whole place here and you got to sit right here. I'm standing here, stay away from people. I'm doing something on my phone. And then you're right here and then you complain about social distancing, right? Well, then I go outside, the dream changes, and when I have dreams about tornadoes, they're prophetic. Every time since I was a kid, I'll have dreams about tornadoes, and I know there's trouble coming. Like if I'm in a relationship and I have a dream about one or multiple thin white twisters, they're like just, maybe F-Zeros or whatever. They're not really harmful, but they're tornadoes, and they're usually in the daytime. That means within 3 hours to 3 days, there's going to be trouble coming. And usually there'll be a fight in the family, or I'll lose a job, or there's a breakup or something. We end up breaking up or whatever, and then it blows over quick and it's over, whatever. Well, when my dad was dying, for example, when he had cancer and stuff, back in 2009, before he ended up in the hospital with in a coma for 4 days, I had this dream where me and the whole family were on this beach. It looked like Rhode Island or something. It was a beach house. It was run down. It was all these, it was really dark sky, and there was tornadoes everywhere, in every direction, just everywhere. These giant black tornadoes. Just. So anyway, there's giant tornadoes, and we all run for shelter in this basement kind of crawl space, and there wasn't enough room for my dad. The rest of the family was in there, so I was holding my dad's arms, and his feet were kind of sticking out of this hole of this crawl space. And the tornado came, sucked the house up, and I almost lost my dad, but I was able to hold on to him, but it was a real close call. The day later, he ended up in the hospital in a coma for 4 days. I stayed there for 4 days straight, praying and praying and praying. Then the Blessed Mother had appeared to him. He said and said he was going to be given another chance because I had put on the brown scapular, the green scapular, and the miraculous medal, which when he went into a coma. And it was on him, and I had been praying the prayers for him. And so when he woke up, long story short, he told me, Steve, this saved me. The Blessed Mother told me it's because you did this for me. I'm going to live. And he started talking about Jesus and all that stuff for the next 4 years. But then leukemia came back, and he got very sick. And then I had that dream the day before he died. I had that dream again where it was same exact place, same exact scenario, all these big black twisters, but this time I couldn't hold on to him, and he was sucked out of my hands, and he died the next day. So, and there's been many tornado dreams that are pretty accurate. So the point of this whole thing is that around 11 o'clock today, I had to go lay down. I got exhausted, and maybe the Lord wanted to show me something. I don't know. But I had this bizarre dream, and so in the dream, we're leaving this cafeteria place, and I'm outside, and I'm in like somewhere that looked like El Paso, Texas, or Arizona, or so. It was like Texas. I don't know. It was desert, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful sunny day, blue skies, and you know everywhere you can see is just desert and mountains and just dry. It was very dry and arid, and we're outside. There's like this eating area, and everybody's outside at these little tables, like an outdoor eating area. And we're stepping on like these cobblestones, like these round, all different shapes and sizes and colors of these rounded decorative stones and pebbles and sand. And then we see this tornado coming, this big, tall, you know, and it's all brown, like, it's tall and thin. It's maybe like an F1 or whatever, maybe even a giant dust devil, because there was no clouds. So this thing was just coming out of nowhere, coming towards us. And people were panicking and fleeing, you know. And I'm there, and there's these two dudes with me. One guy has a beard, I don't even know who he is. And his friend, and they're like storm chasers or something. It was weird. And they're like filming this thing coming up to us with their camera. And I'm like, shouldn't we be like leaving? It's gonna hit us. We're dead. And it's like, he's like, dude, there's not enough time to go anywhere. So this is just awesome. Let's just film it. Next thing you know, I'm in the car with him, and it's like I'm him or something, and we're filming, and it's coming right up to the driver's side door. So I don't know how we went from standing outside to being in a silver like SUV car, but parked in the same spot. But anyway, the windows rolled down halfway, and this thing is coming like right to the window, like right here, and it stops, and it's like all sand, right? Just sand, like a big funnel of sand. And we're like, and the guy's like, dude, we're literally right and standing 1 foot in front of a tornado right now. I mean, that thing could suck us up and kill us right now. Nobody's ever gotten close-up footage like this. And it stopped. And then all of a sudden, we're outside. We're not in the car anymore. We're standing right in front of this thing. Like, this thing's like in my face now, right? And it's big. But it's like only at this point, it's only maybe like the size of the width of a palm tree at this point. And it starts sucking up all the rocks, all the stones and rocks and gravel that we were standing on. And all of a sudden it becomes this tall, rotating, slow rotating, if you ever watch photos or video of Jupiter, you can see the clouds. They always look the same, but they're kind of just slowly rotating, you know. It's really fast when you get there, but from a distance it looks like it's moving really slow, right? Well, I'm standing there, and this thing is just a whole, like, trunk, like a whole tower now of just real thickly packed, rotating stones of all different sizes, but they're all rounded. White, gray, black, whatever, pebbles and dirt and sand and whatever. And it's like right in my face. And so then all of a sudden the realization is, we gotta run. We gotta get out of here now, because a tornado throws debris, right? So these things, I look up and it's like a solid rock tornado now, and it's like throwing rocks and debris at everybody. I'm like, if we get hit with these things, we're gonna get killed. We're gonna be stoned to death. Like so we started running from this thing. It started moving towards us, and as we're all running, I noticed that everybody is running towards this open field area, you know, outside of this restaurant area, outside of this gravel area, and we figured that once it gets past the stones and stuff, there's not going to be anything to throw at us. So we should be in the clear, you know, it's just grass and dirt and dust. So once we get past this, even if it gets near us, you know, we'll be fine. But in the meantime, we're dodging rocks and stones, and it's hitting me, and I'm getting pelted with stones and rocks as I'm running from this thing, trying to get to this grassy, deserty area where there won't be any more debris for it to throw at us, right? And then we get there, and all of a sudden, it's back to a twister again, but it's really big and wide. But now it's just kind of like just dust again, like, you know, almost harmless. As long as you don't get sucked up, it's like not really throwing much. It's throwing grass at us and stuff. And then I woke up. And I immediately woke up, and I felt a lot better all of a sudden. I wasn't so tired. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I feel like I know what twisters mean, and that's not good. Trouble's coming again. Within 3 hours to 3 days, there's going to be trouble. Now, judging by the width of the tornado, it wasn't a huge, wide, 5-mile wide thing, so it's not going to be a huge problem. It's not going to be like, because I had these dreams in seminary too before trouble started there, and then sure enough, within 3 hours to 3 days, there'd be some problem in seminary, right? And so, depending on the color and the size of the twister, made all the difference. I could tell what was going to happen. Well, this one was pretty much narrow at most times where I could have wrapped my arms around it, but it was full of dirt and dust and debris, rocks and stuff like that. So I just felt like, okay, the Lord was trying to show me something. And what I can get from this is a storm is coming. Storm mean, problems in life. And you're going to have a rocky time, like it's going to be a rocky, stormy time where you're going to be pelted by, you're going to be stoned, not stoned to death like St. Stephen, but just, stones. It's going to be a rocky road ahead for a little while until it gets to the clear pasture area. That's what I was getting from it. I'm like, great, what trouble now? And why was it in a dry desert? Now, the thing is, usually these dreams happen, and the tornadoes are wherever I'm at. Wherever I am. If I'm in Connecticut, I see them in my parents' yard. If it's going to be a family issue. If I was living in New Haven, it's going to be in New Haven. That's where I see the twister in New Haven. If I was at seminary, I'd see him at seminary. In this dream, I'm here in Connecticut right now, but the dream was somewhere down in it looked like, I guess, maybe Texas, Nevada, somewhere like that. It was very arid desert. It's fairly familiar, like El Paso. And so I don't know if trouble's coming from that area or something that had happened there or some kind of retaliation from my video about telling you guys what happened to me in El Paso. I don't know what that means. I don't know, but some kind of trouble's on its way towards me. And it could also be the health issues, that I'm going through. It could be symbolic of all the stress I'm under right now, the attack. It's like a big storm I'm going through right now, and I'm just being pelted from every direction right now. I really am. I'm under a lot of attack in every way, financial, health-wise, family. It's just everything. So I really just felt like God was trying to show me something's coming, but I'm going to survive it. It's just going to be a scary, difficult time for a short time. And so I don't know, but I know St. Stephen was stoned to death, and I don't want that. Even St. Paul, but he came back to life. I don't think it's that in-depth. I just think that but I'm wondering why it was in a desert. Like, maybe the desert meant that I'm spiritually in a dry, I'm spiritually dry right now. It's like a parched desert. It's no man's land, a hopeless situation right now. And I know that the people around me, their backs were to me, like nobody was talking to me, so I felt very like a foreigner, like alienated, like I was alone, even though standing in a room full of crowded people. Nobody cared about me. They didn't notice me. They didn't care. It was weird. It was just felt so out of place. I'm like, where am I? Why? I'm in a place with strange people and nobody talks to me. Nobody cares. Nobody sees me. It's like I'm not even here. And, it was a sense of loneliness and hopelessness and, overwhelming. But I'm just trying to figure out, like, why the desert? Why the brown dust-filled tornado or giant dust devil? What is that? Maybe it was a giant dust devil. Because to represent what Satan's throwing at me right now. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the reason God put the dream in a desert was because there's dust devils in those areas. And so maybe that was supposed to symbolize Satan being a close threat, but he's just a bag of wind type of thing. Like, don't worry, Steve, I got this. He's throwing stones, but I got it. There's going to be trouble on the way, but I got it. Stick close to me. Maybe that's what it meant. Maybe that's why it was a desert. It also, because of the traumatic experience of the kidnapping and everything I had, which I don't want to talk about again, but I still have PTSD from it, in El Paso, maybe that's why it was somewhere there, in the dream, because I still have fear and stuff from that whole situation. I'm still unsettled about it. So maybe that's, or maybe it's a warning that Satan's going to try again to get me again. Like, he's going to send people after me again. I don't know. But then another strange thing happened. I was sitting at the table praying, and I something told me to check my Facebook. Like, soon as I told Donna about this dream, I sat down with some coffee at the table, and I'm like, I know, Lord, you're trying to tell me something. And then I sat down and I something said, check your Facebook. And so I go on my Facebook, and the first thing I see is a priest I know, a vocation director, had posted about Luke, a chapter in Luke, I think it was, and it talked about persecution of Christians and how your family will, and your friends and your brothers and sisters will be the first people to persecute and turn you in. There'll be, and Jesus had talked about, how your family would be your own enemies. Your worst enemies would be in your own household, your own family. And that a prophet is not, welcomed or recognized in their own town. Everywhere else they go, but not within their own family and their own circle. You're never going to be accepted or believed, So I felt like, and then when I read that, I'm like, wow, like, Lord, I know this passage, but wow, because I feel like this is exactly what I've been complaining to you about. Like this is what's going on. I made a video last night about the persecution and how I lost my family and friends, and I'm going through the worst time right now, and all I have is God, and I'm dependent on Him because I'm going through a real bad time with my health. I'm scared. I have no money right now. My job is kind of just not going to support me. There's risk of being on the street again, all kinds of stuff. And I've been talking to vocation directors and making good progress, trying to discern what places I really want to get back into religious life. And, so things would look like that's picking up and going well, but now all of a sudden the health again, and I'm like, Lord, I don't get it. Are you trying to prevent me from going back into seminary? Are you trying to prevent me from being a priest or a brother? Because why the health issues again? Like, why are you allowing this to happen? I mean, him and his mother made it very clear to me that I was supposed to go to that seminary, and everything they said was going to happen to me and my spiritual director, everything they told my spiritual director to tell me happened. Word for word, it all happened. Except they didn't mention the part that I was going to leave. Maybe I wasn't supposed to leave seminary. I don't know. But that was weird that happened. That was unexpected. And my life has been nothing but attack and misery, worse than ever since I left seminary. It's like, I don't know if I'm in the doghouse, that God's angry at me right now because I wasn't supposed to leave and I left after everything He did to get me there. I don't know. Or if I was supposed to leave. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Maybe He's just trying to come up with a plan B now because I messed up the mission. I don't know. I just know that him and his mother made it clear that I had a mission in life. It was a very important one. That Satan and God were literally fighting over my soul. Why this special interest in me so much, I don't know. It's been a hell of a ride for the past 40 years, and it just keeps getting worse. But I know that God provides and takes care of me, even through it all, usually at the last minute. He's spared my life many times. He's healed me many times. I've had miracles. I mean, as I'm going through these terrible times in my life of pain and suffering, rejection, humiliation, loneliness, poverty, homelessness, whatever, He also gives me signs, wonders, dreams. People show up with food. They give me money. He answers my prayers. He's there. So He's walking through this with me. I just still don't understand Him. So I'm like, Lord, I don't understand your ways. What are you trying to tell me? What are we doing? Where are we going? I'm here for you. You're all I've got. So I'm clinging on. I'm holding onto your hand real tight because it would be death to let go. But you got to take care of me. Because I feel bad because I'm a 40-year-old man and I'm like a child. I know we're supposed to be like little children with God, but this is ridiculous because I'm like, Lord, I am too sick half the time and too poor, and just my life is so bad right now. I have nobody but you, really. I have Donna, but, that's always just temporary. She keeps telling me every once in a while, don't worry, you'll be here probably till I die, and, I'm not going to put you out. And then yesterday she's saying, oh, well, my daughter's been, saying how she doesn't want to be alone anymore, and she's got mental illness, and she's not supposed to be alone, Steve, and so it would save me like $1,000 a month if I let her move in with me instead of paying her rent, because she can't work, she's disabled, blah, blah, blah. And so that would mean you'd have to go. But I'm not saying right now, it's probably never going to happen, but you never know. And I'm like, Donna, if I had to get kicked out right now, I would die in the cold on the street. I would lose all my things. I couldn't shower. I couldn't use the bathroom. I couldn't have access to meds and stuff I need. I would die. I wouldn't survive a night. Maybe two at most. I mean, it would be a death sentence. Like, I'm not ready. You can't just, your daughter's fine. She's got state assistance. She doesn't need to come live here all of a sudden. She's 56 years old, And so I feel like she's just kind of trying to not let me get comfortable. Like, every once in a while, she'll put things there and make it seem like, don't get too comfortable, don't get too permanent because, did you get a better job yet? And then now that she knows that there's another cancer scare and I've not been well and I've been in and out of the hospital because Donna's been my ride, so she's there with me every time I have to go to the hospital. And she's getting nervous. She's like, Steve, I can't support you and I don't know, I can't take care of you if you're sick and I don't know what's going to happen, so you really can't afford to be out of work for surgeries. I'm like, but I might need it. It's not my choice. If I need a surgery, I need a surgery. It's life and death here. And she's just like, yeah, I understand that, but, it's not a good time for surgery and stuff because you need to kind of get on your own and get a place and, or go back to seminary or whatever. I'm like, now how you figure I'm going to go to seminary sick until things are taken care of? How do you figure I'm going to go and get a good job right now during COVID when they're talking about another shutdown? Nobody's hiring me right now. I'm trying. And I have disabilities and, not enough to get on disability, but I'm not well. And now I'm being told that I got to wait another month before we could even figure out if I do have cancer. I mean, it's like I've been so sick and it's like I haven't been able to work the past couple of weeks because I'm just not well. I can't take the shifts, and it's like, what do you want me to do? Like, so it's like, why is it that when I'm literally at death's door sometimes, I'm like really at bottom, I'm already down and people are kicking me and saying, well, I don't know what you can do, but you better figure something out. It's like, so all I can do is I stay up all night. I can't even sleep when I'm tired because my mind is like, Steve, you don't even know how much, if something happens to Donna, you're on the street. Or if her daughter decides to come, you're on the street. And, it's just like, Lord, I trust in you. I trust in you. I'm laying here. I'm in extreme pain. I'm sick. I don't know what's going to happen to me. Please don't let me end up on the street. Please, I don't know what's going on here, why this is happening, but I need your help, Jesus. You're all I've got. I need a miracle. I need a lot of money fast, or I need a real good job. But even if I had all that, if I don't feel good enough to go to work, I can't work. If I don't feel good right now and you don't heal me, I can't go to seminary. I can't go to religious life. I can't go to work. I can't support a place of my own. I'm in serious trouble right now. It's enough to make you have a nervous breakdown. And it's not helping my symptoms because having stress and anxiety and depression on top of being physically ill can kill you. Like literally my heart can't take it. And I'm having heart issues again and stuff because of it. It's just such a bad situation. And to know that I don't have a family who has plenty of room to take me in, and they live 5 minutes up the street, and they have good jobs working for the FBI, the government, the police department, and they they have extra rooms in their house and this, and they keep telling me I'm not even invited to the holidays. I'm not even allowed to go to the house. I'm not allowed to even drive by the house anymore. They tell me stop stalking us. You don't need to drive by here anymore. There's nothing here for you, Steve. You don't live here. Don't drive by anymore. It's like I just drive by because I'm coming home from work or church, and it happens to be there. And I'm curious, and it was the home that I've known for many years, and that's where I grew up. And I love you guys, and I miss you, and I worry about you, and I want to make sure everybody's okay, and the house is not burned down. Nobody's, I go by because I care. But they don't even want me, they don't even want to see me drive by. I guess they see me drive by sometimes. They know my car, and it's like, then I get a call. Did you drive by today? Stop doing that. It's like, okay, I can't even drive. It's a public road. I can't drive by your house now. You're just driving by to see what's going on. Yeah, because I'm your brother or your son, and I can't, what is going on? My father did not raise this family this way. I mean, we always had our problems, but this is diabolical. Like, for someone's family, soon as your father dies, they start attacking and they kick you out on the street. And that was back in 2015. I had 20 grand and I had to buy that junk trailer full of mold. It got me very sick. It ruined my life because it was all I had, and they've rushed me out so they can sell the house. And right from underneath me. And that's not my father's will. In the will, it said not until Stephen is ready to leave or inherit the place. But no, they tricked me into leaving and threw me in this trailer park. And then I didn't have the money to support myself, and I was very sick, and I had surgeries. I lost my job. And then next thing you know, I get better, but seminary comes around, and God opens the doors, and I go to seminary. And I live in luxury for about 5.5 months, right? But they were attacking and treating me terribly there every day. Every day. It was so bad. It was so hard to sleep and even get my schoolwork done because it was like every day getting slapped, with insults, and you're fat, you're ugly, you're gay, you're anti-gay, you're stupid, you're never gonna make it. And yada. I've already made videos on what they did to me. They tortured me there. I don't understand why. Because I was supposed to be there, and God moved mountains for me to get there. Literally, 5 huge miracles happened for me to get into that seminary. That was God. And he even told my spiritual director it was going to happen, and it happened exactly as he said it would happen. And then they run me out of there. So maybe I gave up too soon and I left. I don't know. But then at that point, I was having heart problems in January. I was in the hospital at seminary because of all the stress and sleep deprivation. I couldn't take their garbage anymore. And I was having stomach issues, and I was getting sick. Soon as I get back here in February, I move in with Donna. It was only supposed to be for a couple days. And Donna has 4 strokes. So she kind of needed me. House sit, take care of the cat. I needed a place. She was in the hospital for like months. And, and then when she came back, she needed somebody to take care of her. She couldn't drive and couldn't cook for herself, all that stuff. So I was here. So lucky me, right? But while I was in the hospital with her the night I rushed her into the ER from the stroke, the next day, that night when I came home, I got violently ill, and it never went away. It was so bad. I waited it out a day, and then by the next night, I was dying, literally dying. I was dehydrated. I was pale. I was passing out. My friend Bob, I called him. I said, listen, I'm calling you instead of an ambulance because I need you to bring me to my priest I want my last rites done and confession and everything because I'm going to die. I'm so sick, I'm going to die. I probably should have been in the hospital yesterday. And he's like, why'd you wait so long? He's like, we should just bring you to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm going to church. God first. I'm a Christian first. Always a Christian first. So I don't care if I die. I just want to make sure I do what I need to for the Lord to make sure my soul's ready to go. And so I went, and I was passing out in the confessional, and the priest was like, you really need to go to the hospital. I'm like, let's just continue this, please. This is important. Okay. So we did that. He gave me the anointing of the sick, special blessings, oil, all that stuff, and then I was ready to go. Basically, it was my last rites. I went to the hospital, and it was a 5-day horrific battle of illness that they could not figure out. And this was before COVID became a pandemic, mainstream. They didn't even know. I didn't have COVID. They still didn't know what the hell was wrong with me. And I was just so sick. So I ended up leaving the hospital, feeling a little bit better, but still sick. But I was hydrated again, and they had me on antibiotics. Well, I never recovered from that, and that was going back to February. So it's been months and months of doctor's appointments and specialists and all kinds of medical procedures, going in every orifice of my body, trying to figure out what is wrong, and is it cancer, is it not cancer? It might be, I don't know. And so now we're back to, hey, it might be cancer, so we're going to have to you have to go to Smilo. You have to go to Smilo Cancer Hospital on December 17th, because that's the soonest we can get you in, and you have to do a special MRI thing to see if it's what we think it is. Now, I'm not worried that much. I'm not worried about dying of cancer. If I have cancer, okay, I get to go home. Like, I'm not complaining. It's going to be painful. It's already been painful. I'm sure it's going to be a terrible road ahead of me. But for some reason, I think it's going to be okay, and that even if I die, I'm going to somehow, God's going to use this. He's going to use whatever happens, and maybe that's what that dream was about, that I got a rocky road and storm battle ahead of me, but I'm going to pull you through, Steve, and we're going to save souls this way. We're going to use this for my glory, for God's glory, And so I'm not that worried. I know I'm going to, even if I'm hooked up to tubes, I'm going to be ministering. I'm going to be, my usual Steve. I'm not going to go out without being a saint. So that much I know. I'm probably going to complain and cry, and I don't do well with pain. I will offer it up, but let's just hope it doesn't get to that point. But if it's not cancer and stuff, yay, good for me. I get to live down here in this hellhole for another God knows how many years. While everything around us is falling apart and Armageddon's on the way. Not looking forward to that. I do think that there's a very good chance that in my lifetime, whether I'm 80 when it happens or not, Jesus is going to probably come. I really have a feeling that we're going to see things in my time. I think this might be the time where we're really going to see the end. But people have been saying that for a long time. I don't know. It's up to God. I mean, I know there's been a few times where he's wanted to destroy this planet already, but because of a few good saints and their prayers and the Blessed Mother's intercession, he's given us more time. But he's getting to the point where he's starting to tell the seers and mystics, like, listen, I know I keep saying I'm coming soon, but when I say soon, on my time, it's still soon. It might not be soon in your world, but it's soon for me. And I'm not looking forward to doing this, because when I come back, I'm coming back with a sword. And if you're not ready and found in that book of life, there's going to be blood up to the horse's bride. It's not going to be a good time on earth for you. It's going to be bad, and you're going to be cast into hell. So I'm giving you time to seek my mercy before I come as the just judge, because nobody's going to stand when I'm the just judge. That's what the Lord's trying to tell people for a long time now, and I think he's coming soon, and I know that things are starting to happen now. There's going to be, Armageddon type things, wars, rumors. Things are just going to get worse. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I'm not claiming to be I'm not a psychic. I have my gifts. I don't know. I'm not a prophet. If I am, I'm not going to take that title. I don't claim to be. I don't know if I'm a watchman on the walls. I don't know what I am. I just know that I'm different. And I've always been since I was a kid, and I see things before they happen a lot of times, and I cannot explain it. I just hold close to the Lord, and I ride it out. And so I keep begging God, I'm like, Lord, you haven't taken this desire to be a priest away from me yet. And I'm willing to be a brother. Like, forget the priest thing. Maybe there's not enough time for me to go to all that school and get ordained. Maybe I don't have the health for it. But I wouldn't mind being a brother and using my talent as an actor and, on social media or television to evangelize, to get people to church. I'll do whatever I can, whatever state you give me, but I got to be all in. Like, this desire is getting stronger. My body's getting weaker, but my desire to do nothing but give my life for the Lord is getting stronger by the day. I want to be with his people. I want to be in church or in a monastery. I would like to be a diocesan priest, but I don't know if the time's going to allow, because things might be ramping up, or I might not be around very much. So I don't know. But it would be my dream come true to die a priest. So, like, if I do have, like, say they tell me I have 6 months left to live, I'm going to pray to God that a bishop will give me, ordain me so that I can die a priest. And I want to be able to do one mass at least. I want to hear confession. I don't know why, but the desire and the need is so strong right now. And I really think we need good, faith-filled priests. And people need a reason to believe. They need us. And there's not many willing to do this. And the whole process to become a priest is so long with so much red tape that it's almost impossible. No wonder nobody wants to do it. They don't have the money. They don't want to do that. Invest 10, 20 years of their life trying to get something. You know what I'm saying? And I also found out that I'm finding more and more, even with a lot of these priests, even when these young guys, when they're ordained, they don't have the faith that I have. They don't even know Bible scripture the way I do. Like, I'll ask them something in confession, or I'll talk to a priest and say, hey, I was reading this. Where'd you see that? What Bible? Where does it say that in the Bible? Oh, you're going to have to show me. I'm like, you're a priest. You've been a priest for years. You were in seminary. You don't know where I got that from the Bible. I have to show you what I'm talking about. You don't understand. This bothers me. And when I say, when they see how strong my faith is, they're like, why do you have such strong faith? Why don't you? You're the priest. I'm a layperson. You should have strong faith. Well, and then when I tell them the reasons why and my life stories and all the things I've seen and the Lord has done for me, they think, you either need a therapist, or they say, well, he doesn't do that for me, and I've been a priest for so long, and I've never gotten the Blessed Mother to talk to me, and I've never had... Well, I'm sorry, what do you want me to say? Take it up with God. I do know this. I've got to be the worst person for the job. I'm the biggest idiot I know. Fool. Stupid. Totally desperate. Totally need him for everything. Cannot stand on my own in any way. Can't even eat without him. Maybe that's why he uses me. Because he does say he will use the foolish to confound the wise, or those who think they're wise. And he doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called, because it's not the person who's doing it for God's glory. It's him doing it through you. You're just a vessel. And I said, yes, send me, Lord. You're going to have to do everything because I'm totally unqualified and I'm not capable, but use me, send me. I'm willing. What else have I got to lose, you know? And so I think that might be why he puts up with me, honestly, because I am probably the worst person for the job. But when I am weak, and I am very pathetically weak in every area of my life, and I'm not happy as a man, as a 40-year-old man, to have to admit that I cannot stand on my own right now. I have nothing left to live for but the Lord. I have no home, no marriage. I have no money. I have no good career. No, it's bad, and my health is bad, and everything's so uncertain. I live day by day by faith and grace alone, and it is scary. It is scary and hard. But you know what? The Lord's there. And so when I am weak, He is strong. So I'm realizing every time I complain to Him all night long at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm on my knees begging, crying, praying, Lord, help. I offer this suffering up. What is going on? And then the Bible verses come, and it's like, oh, you did say that. I just didn't actually think that I'd have to live those scriptures personally. I mean, I know they did and you did, but I mean, I know it's not metaphoric, but I just didn't think I'd live it. You know, I didn't think I'd live the persecution, have my own family hate me and turn against me and throw me on the street. I didn't, but at the same time, I also realized that that's how God works, and that He uses those things. What the devil means for your harm, He means for good. God means for good, and He turns things around. And so I guess maybe I'm closer to the Lord than I realize. Maybe I'm hoping, because maybe that's why it feels like I've lost Him. I feel so dry, so disconnected from Him for a long time now. Ever since I left seminary, He still provided miracles, but it's almost like just because He's merciful only, that we don't have that closeness anymore. I really screwed up, and I feel like that, you know. And every night the devil is whispering, you know, you're condemned, it's, you know, whatever. And I'm just like, no. I keep praying my divine mercy, and I'm like, this is a battle. It's mental, it's physical, it's psychological. I got things coming in the room. Like, literally, the priest came here twice already to bless the place. He's known me many years, and he's seen things himself, and he knows it's legit. It's not pleasant, you know. And I keep saying, Father, I told him again a couple days ago in confession, I'm like, Father, please, we need to do an exorcism or something. I can't handle anymore, and I'm going to end up in a mental institute, and if it weren't for other witnesses seeing this stuff, nobody would believe me, and they'd think I was crazy. He's like, I know you're not crazy. The people close to you know you're not crazy. He's like, Stephen, and the devil's attacking you for a reason. I'm like, Father, what doors have I not closed? Is there some sin I haven't confessed yet? Is there something I haven't repented of that I'm not aware of? We need to figure this out, because maybe that's why there's still a door open to the devil, and I'm being attacked in every way, financially, physically, family, just everything. Every day is an onslaught. It's like, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to live. And he's like, no, it doesn't mean that you did something or that there's unrepented sin or the door's not closed. It might be that Satan attacks saints. And I'm like, I'm not a saint. Not yet. And he's like, it doesn't matter. He attacks Padre Pio. And a lot of the great mystics and saints were attacked. I mean, Padre Pio got thrown around his room every Thursday night. All night long, he had to literally fist fight with Satan. He got beat up, and it was terrible. I'm like, I don't want that. I never asked for that. I never signed up for that. Please, no, God. I've had the scratches, the bruises, I've had a lot of it. I don't want any more. Please. I can't handle it anymore. But seriously, I don't know why this is happening, and I always think that I'm being punished, and that's why I'm in so much pain and agony, and everything's just going wrong for me. Like I'm cursed, or maybe people are cursing me. I mean, there's probably a lot of people on social media that are witches, and they hate people like me, and they're probably conjuring stuff. I don't know. But I know that my God is God, and He's almighty, and I don't care what the devil throws at me. He can't do anything unless God allows it. So He can keep getting in my face and hurting me, and He might even kill me. But He can't take my soul from Christ's hand. So this is going to stink. It's going to suck. I hate to say it, but I don't think the rest of my life's going to be any better than it's already been the past 40 years. In fact, it's probably going to get worse. And considering I'm such a devout Catholic Christian and outspoken, because that's my gift, to be an evangelist, and considering that we are in dark times in this entire planet, and everybody knows it now, and the great deception, and now they're trying to push this alien deception now, saying that, you know, religion's not going to matter anymore because we know that there's aliens now. And yes, there are aliens, I know. But they're not what you think they are. They are fallen angels. They are demons. They're not what you think they are. It's a lie. God said what he said, and he meant it. They didn't come from other planets. They came from hell. They came from here. They've always been here since the fall. And they will be here till Jesus cleans up this place and throws them back into the pit with the rest of the wicked. So we have to tolerate it. But they're going to try to say, I'm God, or I created human race, or whatever. Please don't be surprised at anything in these next coming years. I don't care if Elvis returns and says he was on Mars. Doesn't matter. Okay? Because we know that if you're not in Christ, you're going to be deceived. And if you are in Christ, buckle your seatbelt because you're in for a ride. The whole world's in for a ride. But Jesus said, though 1,000 may fall at your right, 10,000 at your left, you don't need to fear, it will not come to you. Right? So we don't need to fear pandemics. We don't need to fear that because, listen, if God wants me to die of COVID, I'm going to die of COVID. But if he doesn't want me to die, that's not how my destiny goes. That's not already written for me. If God doesn't want that, I'm not going to die of COVID. So while everybody's panicking about COVID, yeah, I'm not going to go out there and look for it. And I'm trying to protect myself, yeah. But if I do get it, it's God's will. You know how many people have already died? Why am I any better? I'm not special. I don't have, so it is what it is. I could die in a car accident. You know how many times I've already almost died? Countless times now. In the hospital, anaphylactic shock, car accidents, plane crashes, drownings, attacks on my life, suicide attempts when I was younger. I mean, my gosh, overdoses accidentally of drugs, not prescription drugs, stuff like that. I mean, I've gone through the ringer. Died during surgery, walked around the rooms, encounters with the Blessed Mother. Wow, I've got some stories. And so, yeah, this is, all I know is that God, when you follow him, there's no telling where you're going to go or end up or what's going to happen to you, but it's going to be an adventure. That much, that's what he meant by, that's what my spiritual director meant about 4 years ago, when he said, Stephen, the Lord's telling me to tell you, you're almost there. Hold on. You're almost there. You have a very big, important mission, and you're about to start living like you've never lived before. And I'm still waiting for that, because I thought that meant that things are really going to be awesome, and I'm going to be a priest, and I'm going to have this great ministry, and maybe televangelist, or... This stinks. Yeah, I'm certainly living like I've never lived before, because I'm used to being okay, comfort, luxury, my own place, This is not what I expected. This wasn't what I signed up for. I never thought I'd be at everybody's mercy, needing donations to survive, needing to be in the hospital so many times a year, suffering terribly. But Jesus didn't lie to me. He never told me what was going to happen, because I probably wouldn't have said, yes, okay, can't wait to do it. But he did say there will be tribulation, trials, suffering in this world, but that he's overcome it. Run your race to the end to win the crown. If you give up, failure's not an option. You go down. So, and unfortunately, those who are chosen by God, those who are closest to him, those who have special calls, according to his will, we get the brunt of the beatings and the persecutions and the sufferings and whatever. And I always thought myself, I've been told my whole life I'm a loser, I'm weak, I'll never amount to anything, I'll never make it in life. But God obviously thinks that I'm strong enough to keep taking these lickings and keep on ticking. I mean, he keeps me going. He obviously sees something in me worth sanctifying. Maybe this is all part of the sanctification process, or I don't know. All I know is it stinks, and it's scary, and I don't even want to think about tomorrow anymore, because today's got enough problems, and I got to survive today. So tomorrow I go to bed, I'm like, oh gosh, what's coming tomorrow? What now? Like, please, no more. And it's just getting started out here in the world. So I need prayers. Iron sharpens iron. I know that it sounds like I'm always so negative and, boo-hooing and seeking sympathy. I'm not. I'm a real Christian. I'm not going to sit there and be one of those prosperity gospel preachers or say, how many people are coming out of the woodwork? Oh, I talked to the Lord, and the Lord told me this, and the Lord told me that. Really? Well, he told her that, and you this, and me this, and that. I don't think everybody's talking to the Lord. In fact, there's a lot of false prophets. That's why I will never claim to be one. I mean, I might be misled sometimes by the devil. I probably have been. You can't always tell. I try to discern. But it's usually pretty clear because I judge it by its fruit. If things go well and it's according to Scripture, I can trust it. But when it's something that does, I feel it in here. It's evil, it's wrong, something's wrong, and it's contrary, it's taking me down the wrong path. I know it's not God, it's the evil one. And I also know this. It took me a long time to realize this, and still I get nervous saying this. When I do good, I get attacked. That's when everything goes wrong. And that's how I know I'm doing good for the Lord and His kingdom. I know that, like, every time, for example, when I pray the Divine Mercies Chaplet for somebody who's dying in hospice or next door neighbor's dying of cancer, and I trust that Jesus said to Faustino, that's going to cover that person. If they pray it with you and they mean it and it's covered. They're going to heaven. They might got to do some time in purgatory, but they made it. So every time I do that for people, and I've done it for a lot now, that's another soul that the Lord's probably like, thank you, Stephen. Well done. Go get another one. And I pray to God, send me another one, Lord. Send me someone to talk to today. Who do you need? Who needs prayer? Who needs a word? Send them. Keep them coming. And He does. And it's awesome. But then it's like, Lord, are you mad at me because now I'm terribly sick, or all these troubles are coming and the car's broken down and I'm being kicked out? I mean, it's like, I don't get it. Every time I really try to live by this gospel, I say my prayers, I do my rosaries, I'm praying for people, I'm teaching them the Bible, and then my life turns to crap. And it's like, so I started realizing, like, you know what? When I'm sinning and I know I'm in a state of mortal sin and I'm out of His grace, there's no problems. Everything seems to be great. I'm doing well. I feel good. Everybody loves me. I'm getting good job. But then when I'm in a state of grace and I'm doing everything I know I'm supposed to be doing, everything goes sour. And it's almost enough to make you be like, you know what, who wants to be a Christian? Maybe I shouldn't be a Christian then. Maybe God's trying to tell me He doesn't want me. I don't know. But then I realized through a lot of the saints and stuff that I've read about, no, this happens because Satan is a vengeful person. And every time he loses ground, every time you lead another soul to Christ, every time you do something right, there's hell to pay. He's coming after you. He's mad. And he hates me. And He's made it pretty clear. And so I wonder, I'm like, Lord, You're allowing this to happen. Maybe You hate me too. Am I ever going to make it? Am I even doing this for a reason? Am I going to make it to heaven? Because I don't think so. If I had to judge by my life, but then I see the fruits of it. And I see families coming together. And, relationships being healed. Not mine, of course, unfortunately. But, the people I'm praying for. And I see deathbed conversions, and I see people going to church. I bring them to confession and then start going to church from now on. And, I see crack addicts go to church and go to confession, and then automatically I have a friend, literally, who just turned her life around after one confession, after returning to church, was married within a year, has a bunch of beautiful kids. She's still a Catholic. I mean, it's like her life changed instantly when Jesus came into her life. And she fought me for so long. I'm not going to church with you. I'm not going into that confessional. And then I went, and I'm like, please just do this for me, and I'll leave you alone. And she did. She came out of there crying and felt like 1,000 pounds had been lifted off of her, and her life just catapulted. It went from the darkest thing to she's like still flying high right now. I mean, amazing. And I've seen this multiple times. I prayed for people who are sick or dying of cancer, and next thing you know, the cancer's gone. Then I find that a few years later, it ends up returning a lot of times, and they end up dying. But here's the thing. It wasn't meant to save them. It was just a temporary, a little extra time to amend their ways and come to church and have Jesus. And every one of those people, when I found out before they died, they were going to church, going to confession, praying rosaries, talking about the Lord, evangelizing, and then they died. But they died happy, and they died surrounded by friends and family, and they had the priest there, and they had their prayers, and they had their last rites and their communion, and God provided a holy death. And I was usually, a lot of times, I'm the last person there literally holding them as they're dying, or holding their hand, praying the chaplet as they're dying. And they die while I'm there. And I just think that's an amazing thing because I'm bringing souls to God. It's awesome. But then I got to deal with the onslaught of attack. So, and illness. And like, even now as I'm talking, like my stomach's killing me again. And I got dishes to do. I have to eat dinner. It's already 4 o'clock. I got things to do. But I just don't feel good. Like right now, I literally feel like somebody just stabbed me in the stomach and is twisting it around my intestines. Whatever. I offer it up, Lord. Somebody might need that, and the pulsating headaches that keep coming through, they're so violent. It's like chewing on tinfoil when you have a bad cavity, but it's in your brain. It's like, it just shoots through like it's vascular. And it's like, oh, and it's enough to make you feel like you just had a stroke, and, you know, it's terrible. For all I know, I am having strokes. I don't know. Sometimes you lose your vision. It's whatever. It is my lot. And you know what? I did enough sins in my youth that I suppose I deserve this. I know I do. I know that I don't deserve heaven or God and His mercy, but I'm begging Him every day for it. And I know I deserve the deepest recesses of hell from my, I would call them the roaring 20s, and actually probably from age 5 to 27 maybe, to maybe 30. So I'm 40 now, so yeah, I kind of, you know what, I need Him. And that's why I said, Lord, I'm all yours. I owe you my life countless times. I owe you everything, and I'm all yours now. And when I meant that, and I finally, it took about 3 or 4 times that I was on my knees begging Him over the years, but I guess I wasn't ready yet. And then finally at age 26, one night, everything changed. The Blessed Mother had come into my life, and just bam, deep conversion. I'm like, Lord, I've been walking with you for 26 years, but now all of a sudden, like, I'm on fire. And it's like you downloaded the Bible into me, and I just know it, and I understand it. And it's like my eyes were open, and everything changed in that night. And it was hard. Like, I suffered a lot of losses. I lost my family members, my girlfriend, my friends, my dogs, my home, my health, my movie career, everything has been taken away. But I feel like that's what was necessary, unfortunately, because I asked God to make me a saint, a modern day saint. It wasn't enough for me to just go to heaven. I want to give Him everything now. I want to try to make up the best I can and lead as many souls to Him as I can. And I didn't realize how far away from Him I really was living my life up until that time, and that Satan had really had me, and that even though I guess I was his by default and I didn't intentionally work for Him, but I did a lot of damage to the kingdom, and I led a lot of souls astray with my sin and encouraging and enabling sin. And, basically I was a normal human being on this planet without Christ. Your typical, I wasn't an atheist, but I prayed every night and this and that. I thought I was walking with the Lord, but I didn't know that Bible. I didn't really I wasn't that serious. It took a long time until I was 26 to really get there. And it literally took a death sentence. Literally, I was on my knees that night because the doctors were telling me I was probably going to die of Lou Gehrig's disease. And I was so terrified. I'm like, Lord, please, if you keep me out of that wheelchair, if you heal me, I'm all yours. I will preach. I'll be a priest. We're going to read this Bible. We're doing it your way from now on. Well, I meant that, and He answered, but then all the attacks and stuff. And I also fell a lot on the way. I mean it with all my heart, but I was still sinning. I was still sleeping with people, dating around, trying to, I had a lot to learn. A lot of detaching to do, and I felt like the Lord never left me, but He's like, okay, now we're going to take this away, we're going to shake this, and, come on, Stephen, I need you on board here, like, come on, you promised me this, and you're still screwing up, and so, it's been a, it's been a ride, and now I'm 40, and the happiest time of my life was in 2018, when I got a message from the Blessed Mother, that I was indeed going to go to seminary, by a miracle. And it happened, and I was so happy when I got in. It was like winning the Powerball. And my dreams had come true, and my life was set, and I was on my way. And God provided all these miracles. I needed to sell my home right away to start school in a month. I had a dream of a buyer, and then they showed up at the door as soon as I woke up. And just everything. I needed a realtor. The next day, this girl finds me, and I got more money than I expected to get, than I asked for. And everything just worked so perfectly, and money just came in when I needed it. I was able to actually pay everybody back everything I owed them with interest, and I still had about a couple grand in the bank for me at seminary, which I ended up having to use to move back to Connecticut unexpectedly. But He did the amazing. There was no doubt that the Lord's hand was in here taking care of every need. But then when I got there, I'm like, Lord, I don't feel you anymore. I'm here. It's like you brought me here, you dropped me off at the bus stop and took off. So now I was on my own in the seminary, and it was a nightmare. I was very happy to be there. I loved it. I was so excited, but at the same time, people wanted to destroy me and my joy. Why do you have so much faith? Why do you pray with your hands folded? Why is it so important that you kneel during Mass? Why do you want to receive Holy Communion on the tongue? It was just like, where am I? I felt like, I'm like, this isn't a Catholic seminary. Where am I? These people don't even have faith. They're telling me they don't even believe in the Holy Communion being really Jesus' body, blood, soul, and divinity. One of the priests were telling me, my formator is telling me he doesn't even believe in God, but he's a priest just in case. I mean, it was like a nightmare, and I'm like, you've delivered me to the doorstep of purgatory. What is this? And then I had a priest confessor tell me, Steve, maybe the Lord sent you there to reform the place. And I'm like, no, I don't see, that's never going to happen. They're never going to listen to me. They don't even let me talk. They don't respect me. They're terrible to me. They steal my stuff. They go in my room. Like, I'm scared to be here. Like, it was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. They treated me horrendous. And, I did, no matter what I did, and I'm like, Lord, I came here for you, to be one of your priests and to be holy, to do this right, to be, there. I'm not going to make it long here, And after about 5.5 months of this, my health started declining. I was so miserable. I had to leave. I couldn't stay any longer, and I prayed and prayed. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to leave. Don't let me leave here if you don't want me to leave. But they're not going to let me stay here very much longer. They're trying to get me out, and it's just a matter of time. I should just save face and leave. I mean, my health is declining. I haven't gotten a good night's sleep in months. Like maybe an hour a night, if that, sometimes days without sleep, because the workload that they put on you with the school, and the formators always up my butt trying to constantly, never give me a moment to myself. Like they would criticize me if I had to use the bathroom. It was terrible. And so I'm like, this is not holiness. I can't be, I'm here for you, Lord. And so I thought I was going to come here, learn all about you, learn the Bible, pray, and get my degree. I never came here to be abused in every way and then tormented and then, run out of here. So I'm like, this is not a godly place, and I hope you take your blessing away from this place. I hope an earthquake knocks it, hold every brick of it down, because this is nothing but a machine breeding heresy and fake priests, and that's not what we need. So I left. But then after I left, everything got so much worse. Everything was so scary, and God has gotten me through to this day, one day at a time. He provided the miracles as I needed them. Food, medical care, a car, whatever I needed, yes. But it is like I am totally hanging by a thread of His garment, and if it snaps, I'm dead. I'm going to hell. I need Him for everything. And I am still trying to not fear, but like the past couple of days, I've just been very scared, because not of death, not of the suffering of this illness, if I have it or not, but that I'm not going to complete my mission for Him, that I'm not going to make it to heaven, that I'm never going to be able to be a priest or even a brother, that I screwed up so bad that God's not going to forgive me this time, or He's not going to let me go back in, maybe, and maybe this is happening. I also feel like as soon as I left that seminary, that holy ground, it was like attack after attack. Satan was just waiting outside for me in the world with a baseball bat. It's like once you go to heaven, you don't want to go back to the world. Like once you're with the Lord and you're totally in with all your heart and might, and you set your mind, you leave everybody and everything behind, and you give up everything and go 1,000 miles to live with the Lord in a monastery, seminary. That's it. You weren't planning on going back into the world. And then you're thrown back into the world during a pandemic, and your family will not take you back, and they want nothing to do with you, and everybody's disappointed in you, and your health is declining fast, and you're scared, and you're suffering, and you're in pain, and you don't even know where you're going to lay your head down, or if you're going to have a roof over your head, or if you're going to get a job. Well, I got the job that I needed. It's not what I need, but at least it's a job. I got food when I needed it. People showed up with gift cards and stuff at the right moment. That was a godsend. Sometimes left bags of groceries at the door. So I eat. Have a roof over my head still, thank God, right now. So I'm trying to be grateful for it, but I feel like somebody's trying to take it away from me and throw me on the street to die. Um, Donna's not always well, so sometimes she gets these things in her head, and I don't know what she's thinking sometimes. One minute she's like a mother to me, and I'm like her son. The next minute I'm like the devil to her, and she's talking about, putting me out. And it's just like, so I don't need that on top. And then I realize it's the devil. Like he'll jump into people, or he'll oppress people, or he'll operate through them and make them little marionettes on strings to attack you, And he hurts me. He'll say very, "Hey, Jonathan, miss you, brother. You're hanging in there. I saw some updates on the internet, so I'm proud of you. You lasted longer than me, so keep going. Don't let them break you down." So as I was saying, the devil will use even your own family to say terrible, hurtful things to you. He'll use your superiors, your formators, your friends. They will betray you. Those are the times you have to have faith, and you have to remember what Scripture says, and you hold on tight to Jesus' garment, and you don't let go. I'm holding on to him by a thread. I feel like sometimes the Lord's trying to run away from me and shake me off of his garment, and I'm like, no, I'm holding on to this thread. I'm not letting go of this thread. Like, don't let me go, because I'll die, But I know God's not like that. It's just, it seems like that sometimes. It's like, Lord, I feel so alone and away from you, and I'm going through hell right now. And it seems like it's getting worse, and I'm starting to lay in bed at night thinking, maybe I'm dying. Maybe I will die soon, and maybe that's why he's not answering. I'm not getting a better job, not getting healed, not getting a home, not getting into seminary again, because maybe I'm not going to be here much longer. I certainly feel like death. The headaches are bad, the pain everywhere in my body. It's just getting worse by the day, and I all I can do is I try not to cry, and I offer it up. But then my family will go and make some nasty phone calls to me and really tear me down even more and make me feel terrible around the holidays and not let me come and spend Thanksgiving with them. And, it's just to remind me of my lot in life, and that I have no one, and that I'm all alone in this, and that I better have God on my side or I'm done, and it's scary. I understand what it must have been like to be in that boat during that storm and say, Lord, don't you care? We're drowning. We're dying here. Where are you? And then Jesus like, be still, and the waves were calmed, and he's like, how much more longer do I have to put up with you? Why do you have such little faith? Well, that's how I am. I'm like, Lord, do you see me drowning here? Hello, you gonna reach down? You gonna help? You gonna stop this storm? I mean, do you see? I can't take it anymore. Come on. Why is it everything got to be so painful with you? Why does everything have to be a drama and a war every day? Like, can we ever have peace? Where's that peace and joy of the Lord that surpasses all understanding I keep asking you for? And, maybe I do have some of it. It's almost like, I think I hear him telling me right now, when you decide that you're going to have it, you'll have it. It's your choice. I told you everything you need to know. I told you that this is going to be a very difficult path, and that don't follow me until you first count the cost. I told you that it's the way of the cross, and you're going to have to carry a cross. I told you the world will hate you, and your family will turn you in and be against you. And I told you everything. You know what it means to be a Christian, and now you're experiencing it. Welcome to my world. That's what it takes to get to heaven, and that's why few find this very narrow road, and fewer stay on it. So the kingdom of heaven is a narrow road with a narrow gate. And I'm understanding why it's so narrow. Because I'm like, Lord, can you blame people? Honestly, I'm not trying to mock you, but can you blame people for not wanting to do this? Because it seems so scary and uncertain, and it's terrifying and painful, and you lose everything, and everybody hates you. It's miserable. It is miserable. And he's like, well, yeah, that's why it's the road of the cross. Did you think I had fun going to Calvary for you? Did you think I was kidding when I said they would do these things to you? Okay, but that's how you and every other saint is going to get to heaven. Some of them not so bad, it depends. But if you want a double crown, you want to be a saint, you want higher glory, you want to be closer to me, the closer you are to me, when people are throwing those stones at me, they're going to hit you too. You're going to be so close to me, Steve, that you're going to feel those thorns on your forehead, because you're going to have your head right up against mine. You're going to feel those, you're going to know what it's like to be close to the Lord when you're close to him. There's no denying it. Padre Pio knows it well. Saint Faustina knows it well. I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I'm hoping to be one day. I am trying, because the way I see it, there's no going back. And this is everything I live for and breathe for every day. It's the only reason why I'm alive. When you know what I know, and you've really given your life to God, you're still going to fall, you're still going to sin, you're not perfect, but you're going to try to get back up and try to be perfect because he asked you to be perfect. And you're going to know that there's nothing else in this world more important than pleasing God and getting to heaven. And that's it. And so once you keep your mind set and that's it, and you know that there's no going back and you're on this road, hold on, strap yourself to Christ and just go for the ride. Because there's no going back. If I go back now, I will die. For sure. And not just here, but eternally. I don't want to go to hell after this. Life has been hell enough. I don't want to go to hell. Please, God, don't send me there. As much as I deserve it. And I know that there's nothing else for me to do now but continue going. Now, whether I'm going to be a priest in the future or whether I'm going to die, I don't know. That's none of my business. All I ever hear from the Lord is, trust me. You don't trust me. Trust me. It's like, Lord, every time you say trust me, I get whacked in the head again. Like, how many more catastrophes? I'm trusting you, but did I get you through? Well, yeah. All right, then shut up. Keep walking. It's like, all right. So, what do we do with this? You get what you ask for. You want to be a saint? You want to be a priest? You want to be, even if I don't become an ordained priest, I'm still, my baptism, royal priesthood, right? So we need to still live like one. I cannot go back into the world and behave the way I did before I had Christ. Because that would be suicide in every level, and it would be stupid, and that would be like being a Judas and knowing that you had God right there, you were one of his disciples, and then you decide to walk away from him and go hang yourself. Why would you do that? So I can't fail. Now I'm trusting God's love and mercy that if I keep going to the day I die, I'm going to make it. He's got me. But if I give up, or I choose to quit, that's on me, and I'm done. Now, I'm already in the doghouse for quitting seminary. I do regret it. But you know what? Maybe, with my health just is deteriorating. I think a lot of my health is declining now because of the stress of seminary, but also because it was a lot more stressful once I left seminary. My life has been terrible since I left seminary, and it's enough to cause cancer. It's enough to have a stroke and high blood pressure because I'm trying to survive every day out here, and it's not easy. And I have no one but a 74-year-old who I take care of. She takes care of me by giving me a home and stuff and food, but I take care of her also. So it's kind of like a mother-son thing, And I'm grateful for her, but, I don't know. Every night I see that she's high risk and she can die. She don't take care of herself. I try to cook healthy for her, but if she dies, I'm on the street again, and I also don't want to lose the only person I have left that loves me on this earth. The only person that knows me, my only friend. She's like a mother and a friend to me. She needs me and I need her, and I don't want anything to happen to her. But she's also a Protestant, and when I try to teach her stuff, the other night we got a big argument because she keeps saying, stop pushing Catholicism. And I'm like, I'm not pushing it. But I got my Bible, and I'm doing my rosary, and you always remind me, make sure you say your rosary, Steve. I'm like, why don't you join me? Because we don't do that kind of stuff. I'm like, then don't tell me when to pray. I know what I got to do. I'm doing it all day long. I don't need a human alarm clock to tell me, make sure you do your rosary. And then she doesn't want to learn it, She sits there, she watches me do it, but she won't do it. She'll come to church with me sometimes, but she won't participate. She doesn't want to be Catholic. Fine. And then we had a talk, and I was teaching her about the Beatitudes and the pillars of faith and the corporal and spiritual works of mercy. And I wrote them all down for her. And I talked to her about, the virtues and, the 7 deadly sins and all that. And she's just sitting there, okay, why are you telling me all this? I'm like, why am I telling you this? Because you're going to go to hell if you don't recognize it and stop doing them. You need to know this. Well, that's a Catholic thing. No, it's not a Catholic thing. You have a Bible. Read it. It's in there. The Sermon on the Mount should tell you enough, Come on, this isn't just a Catholic thing. Stop labeling things. You're a Christian, you're a Christian. You need to live by this. You need to start growing in virtue. You need to avoid the 7 deadly sins. You need to know, their opposite counterparts and grow in those virtues to protect you from it. You need to know the Beatitudes and live them every day. Feed the hungry, which she does. I'm hungry. Clothe the naked. Shelter the homeless. I'm homeless. She's sheltering me. So she's got a couple of them down. And so I'm trying to show her, you're already kind of doing it. Now let's keep going. This isn't just a Sunday thing or once in a while. This is, stop with the gluttony, start fasting. I'm starting to fast, she doesn't want to, it's hopeless. But maybe by my example, I kind of hope. But then she looks at me and she's like, Your life stinks, Steve. I mean, why? I don't want to follow your example. And maybe you're cursed because you're a Catholic. Do you ever think of that? My preacher's telling me not to do those rosary things and not to do all that. And you guys are the Church of Satan. I'm like, okay. And judging by your life, I kind of wonder because your life stinks. And you're not exactly living in blessings, are you? I'm like, and your preacher's teaching the prosperity gospel. Throw $10 in here and God will bless you with 1,000. Come on. Give me a break. I'm so tired of the... She's like, well, we're not Protestant. We're Congregational. I'm like... If you're not Catholic, you're Protestant by default. I don't care what of the 56,000 different denominations you belong to. All I know is I'm part of the true church because Jesus founded it and he made it very clear that there's one God and one church and that's it. And everything else, hey Giovanni, congratulations again with your child. And I'm praying for you guys and I knew it was going to be great and so I'm proud of you. At least you get to be a dad. I'll never be able to have that opportunity, so I'm proud of you. Do it for both of us. And you know what? I can't think of a better person to be a father than you, honestly. I mean that. So God bless your family. But anyway, like I was saying, it's not easy, guys. And if you're going to be a Catholic and, you got to just start pressing in. Fathers need to know about St. Joseph so they could be a good father and have his intercession for them while they're growing, a family. Women should be more like the Blessed Mother. They need to get to know her and understand so they could be great wives and great women of God. People like me, thick-headed idiots who did everything wrong for most of their life, now I have to pay for it. But you know what? It's going to be a story that people remember. Anybody who knows me one day, if I die and make it to heaven or if I become whatever happens, as long as I keep going and I don't forsake Christ, I know that the people who need to, who are meant to, will learn from me and start coming to Jesus too. Because they know me, they know where I came from. They know all the things I deal with and survive every day, and then it's only by God's grace and miracles, through faith and grace, that I make it every day. And I've come a long way in 40 years, and I am not the person I was in my 20s. I mean, when I was 20, I was hanging out with Channing Tatum and Vivica Fox, and I was, on my way to becoming a superstar celebrity, and I had the life, sports cars, and everything was great. But I also always prayed and had God. But when it came to the time where I had to be serious and really walk with Christ and give him my life, when he required it of me, I had to give up all of that. And then went the financial security and the health and everything else and all my friends and all my fans and my family and everybody hates me now but I got Christ. So what wouldn't you give to go to heaven? Because the alternative is hell. And I don't want to be there. So if you had any clue how bad it is and how very real it is, you don't want to be there. You would give up anything you could to follow Christ as well. Some of you people are called to be parents into marriages, but that's still a vocation. And you need to have Christ in the center of that so you can live that vocation, because that is what's going to get you to heaven. A husband and a wife get each other to heaven and their kids to heaven. You teach these kids the right way, teach them about Jesus, and they will walk in that way. If you don't, the world's going to get a hold of them. They're going to be idiots like we were, or worse. Look at these people out there now, these liberal, godless, protesting morons. I mean, oh gosh, I don't even want to talk about it. It makes me sick. But we have to pray for them, so I do. So anyway, this is a lot. I was just going to come on here and make another quick video and then do the dishes, but I got to talking, I guess, and as I'm talking to you, I'm realizing things too. It's like the Holy Spirit's putting things on my mind, and I'm getting revelations and understanding of, hell yeah, I was just praying about that. Why is that happening, And last night, before I end this video, I wanted to tell you, there was a song on one of my videos last night. I think it was in the beginning of one of my videos. Donna had come home after I did that long video in the car. Then I came home and I did a short one about that I was cooking dinner for us, and she came in the house in a good mood, and she felt like God wanted me to hear a song. And then she actually grabbed the Bible and she sat down and she read Psalm 22 to me. And I was like, I didn't want to discourage her. I'm like, oh, finally, the lady's reading the Bible. And she's willing to share it with me. So we're finally having a Bible study here. I'm cooking. She's sitting here. We're reading Scripture. This is awesome. Praise God. He's answering prayer, right? And I was just dumbfounded because everything that I had complained about in that video before she came home, You know, when I got home and then started cooking, and she came in the door and she said, I think I need to read this to you. And there's a song that I feel like that I read about in a book that I think we need to play. So she plays this song called Doe of the Morning. And it turns out it was a guitar acoustic song about the Psalm of David, Psalm 22. And that the words were Psalm 22. So I couldn't really make it out in the song. So then she grabbed the Bible. She goes, I'll just read it to you. And she was reading it to me. And I'm like, wow, Lord, you never fail to amaze me. Because you did hear my prayers last night. And I was in bed last night in terrible pain, couldn't sleep as usual, worried about everything, and crying out to you, saying, where are you? Why aren't you helping me? Why is all this happening to me? All I can do is offer it up for people, the suffering, as a penance and as a sacrifice. But it makes me closer to you, Jesus. But it's still terrible what's going on here. And when she read Psalm 22 to me, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I felt like that was me. I knew that God had put that on her heart to come home and tell me, because we had a fight earlier, and this was her way of making peace. And she read that to me, and it described what I'm going through, the persecution I'm feeling. The everything I'm going through is in Psalm 22. It's just a page or two long, but it's definitely worth reading. Look it up, Psalm 22. And I was just awestruck. Like God had answered again, as he always does, through scripture, through other people. And it was very comforting, because he's basically saying, and I want to cry right now because I get emotional about these things, because it's amazing. He answered me. I'm thinking God hates me. I must have screwed up. Why is everything happening to me? Where are you? Where are you? You're not helping me. And all of a sudden, the past couple of days, in amazing ways, he's gotten he's spoken to people through Psalms and stuff that were just literally what I was talking about with him in prayer in my room. And then all of a sudden, somebody comes up and says, here, read this, or God wanted me to tell you this, and I know he's answering. And these songs and the Psalms and everything were exactly what I needed to hear. In other words, Stephen, David went through it too, and he wrote all about it. And here, you are going through it. And then I remember when I was 27, I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, use me like you did David. David was very much like me. I feel like I can relate to little David. He's the one who defeated Goliath with God's help. God really killed Goliath, but through David. By showing up there. David just had to be courageous enough to show up and trust God, that God wasn't going to let him get killed. And he went there with a little sling and a tiny rock, and there's this giant Goliath. A rock's not going to kill him, right? But with God, all things are possible, right? So he threw that stone, and it hit Goliath in a temple here, and it killed him. And all these other people, armies couldn't take this dude down. And then here's this little sheep herder, David, this runt of the family, short little dude. He wasn't muscular. He was just like the runt of the family. In fact, just like me. His family disrespected the kid. He loved God. He would play music to God. He would always go off, and while he was pasturing his sheep, he would have a relationship with the Lord and sing the Lord's songs and praise him, and just wanted to be close to God. His family rejected him. His brothers and sisters, his brothers and stuff were all these big, burly, alpha male dudes. And here's scrawny little runty, ill David, right? Like me. And I'm not half the man my father was. I must have fallen far from the tree or something. I got all the crap genetics. So I've never been able to be a muscular, strong alpha male as much as I wanted to be. I've been a weakling my whole life because of health issues, right? So here's David, and his family's telling him, oh, he's never going to amount to anything. He's just going to have to be a sheep herder. He can't join the military. He's never going to be a well-known, distinguished general of an army like his brother. God's never going to do anything great with him. Like, nobody cares about David. We don't even talk about him. We're embarrassed by him. We keep him out in the fields away from the public's eye because we're so humiliated by this David. We don't even want people to know he's part of the family. I can relate to that because that's what my family does to me. They're all successful and have great government jobs. Teresa works for Sikorsky, Marine One. My other sister runs the New Haven Police Department record room and works with the chief. My niece is in the FBI. Her husband's a cop in New Haven. He's like a lieutenant now or a sergeant. My dad was military. He was Hillary Clinton's bodyguard. He was FBI. I mean, everything. My father died a U.S. Marshal. I mean, that man... he was in the FBI. He did everything. He knew Cher and Barbara Streisand. Like, my father was like, people would seek my father out because his notoriety was like world renowned. for his just being an awesome law enforcement and a detective. He was on Unsolved Mysteries. I mean, the man can solve the hardest cases that nobody can solve, serial killers. He just naturally, God gave my father a gift. And he was an awesome cop and a military man. Then he was disappointed with his son because I was like this runty little, what am I going to do with you, Steve? You should just be an actor. You're good at it, and you had good looks, and you could probably make a lot of money for the family just doing that. You're never going to be a cop. As try as I may, my health always got in the way, and I had to leave. I couldn't become a cop. I tried a few times, but it just wasn't going to be possible. I wanted to go in the military. I wanted to be a chaplain. I don't mind being out there in the front lines of my Bible, but you have to go through boot camp, and I can't get through boot camp, so I'll never be able to be in the military. So it's like, Lord, what? So finally I got fed up, and I'm like, Jesus, all things are possible with you. You can make something out of the worst person. I mean, I don't need to be strong like everybody else. I don't need to have college degrees. I don't need to be a military man or a cop. You can make me that if you want. With you, all things are possible. You can make me a leader, a president. There's no telling what you can do with me. And so I said to the Lord one day, I was reading about David, and I got on my knees, and I said, Lord, I'm asking you, use me like you did little David. Do for me what you did with him. His family was nasty to him just like mine is. My father was the only one, my father and my grandmother, God rest their souls, were the only ones who were very nice and loving and understanding of me. The rest of the family just can't stand me, never could. And so they couldn't wait to throw me out onto the street as soon as my dad died. And they did. Well, and blame me for everything under the sun, including his cancer. Like I gave my dad leukemia? Okay. Maybe because he smoked for 60 years? But anyway, it's always my fault. Anyway, so I think the Lord is doing that. I think he's been using me in mighty ways like he used runty little David. I mean, with David, he used him to kill Goliath, and then he became a general of an army, and then from there he became a king. Then he ends up messing up, as they usually do. They all fail God at some point and betray him because they get too big for their britches, and they're so used to God blessing them that they start getting haughty and arrogant and proud, and that's the sin of the devil, and then they fall. The higher you are, the higher you fall. The farther you fall, because you get too big and you don't need God anymore, and you start forgetting who you're working for and who you owe everything to. And so, such is vanity, And so I'm kind of like that, and I think that, God's kind of in, I might be a little tiny saint, even if nobody ever hears about me. And I'm not expecting statues to be made of me. If I'm in heaven, it means I made it. I'm a saint. Only saints go to heaven. You might have to go through purgatory for a long time, but when you come out of there, you're going to be a saint. So as long as I get to heaven, I will have achieved my sanctity. But I'm not going to be one of those saints. I doubt very much, unless I start getting the stigmata and levitating. I don't think I'm ever going to be a Padre Pio or anybody who's going to have a statue after them, and people are going to be like, oh, praying to Steve to help them. But who cares? It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get to heaven. I told the Lord so many times, I'm like, as long as I get there, Lord, let me clean the toilets. Let me just stand at the gate. Just don't send me to hell. Let me be the least in your kingdom so long as I'm there. And one day, a couple years ago, I was in church, and God answered. I had said that to him. I said in my heart after receiving Holy Communion, it was towards the end of Mass, and I prayed in my heart, I said, Lord, I just want to be there, please. Make me the least in your kingdom. I'm not looking for crowns or mansions or glory or any of that stuff. I just want to be there. I'll be a janitor, but just so long as I'm there and not burning in hell. Please, I'd rather be the least in your kingdom than not be there. I'd rather be the least in your kingdom than reign in hell. And then all of a sudden, an unlikely person who turns out to be a distant cousin, cranky old guy, the organist, he's up in the loft, and the church is exiting out, and I stay behind to pray, exorcism prayers for the church and all that stuff. So I get in my zone, and I got my eyes closed, and the church is empty at this point. And all of a sudden, I feel a hand on my shoulder, and I get startled, and I look up, and it's John, the organist. And he literally looked at me, and he said, with a smile, he's like, Stephen, you are not the least in God's kingdom. And he patted me, and then he walked out the door, and I was like, did that just happen? Like, Lord, why do you do that all the time for me? But wow. I mean, that man never talks to me. He's miserable. I never see him smile. He's always grumbling and complaining. And he just came all the way down here. I'm the only one in the church. And gives me a message from you? Like, you're not the least in the kingdom. So then, of course, I started getting nervous saying, oh no, does that mean that I'm not going to make it at all? Like, I'm not even worthy to be the least in your kingdom? I can't even, like, clean toilets? And then I talked to my confessor. He's like, Stephen, would you stop berating yourself? God's trying to show you that you're going to be more than the least. See, I want to cry again. He's like, you're going to be more than the least. You're not garbage. You're going to make it. He's got bigger plans for you. Just don't screw up. Just keep trying. God's got it. You don't have to be don't set the bar so low all the time. And I'm like, well, Father, it's because my whole life, people always put me down. I'm too fat. I'm ugly. I'm stupid. I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to amount to anything. I'll never be a priest. I'll end up in a trailer park or homeless on the street. And so far, all those prophecies have been self-fulfilling, because it's like, and then I started realizing that's why God said, you have to watch your tongue. If you can control your tongue, you can control your whole body. Your tongue is powerful. God spoke everything into existence through his tongue. And since we are created in his image and likeness, you can't just be firing off idle words all day long, or cuss words at people, or cursing people. Because you don't realize whether you're a believer or not, you're still in God's image and likeness, and what you say has power. And so when you're telling people terrible things about, oh, you're going to die, you're going to have cancer, you're going to whatever, you're speaking curses over people that could manifest and hurt or kill that person. And so help you God, because on Judgment Day, he said, you will be held accountable for every word, every idle word spoken. You can speak death over people, and you're not even realizing you're just talking trash all the time. And now when you're on Judgment Day, you're going to stand here and see all the people that died prematurely because of your mouth. So he said, guard the tongue, because out of it come blessings and cursings. Life and death is in the tongue. You can speak life and prosperity and blessing over people, as Jesus does, or you can curse and condemn people. You got to watch your mouth. Now, I hesitate to say that because there's power-hungry people out there saying, really? Now that I know, I'm going to go cursing all my enemies. No, you're going to pay for it. Trust me, 3 to 10 folds it comes back to you. Whether you do good or bad, it comes back 3 to 10 folds. Don't do that. The other thing is, that's why preaching the Word of God and reading the Bible and uttering it and praying is so powerful. You might not see it all the time right away in this world, but it is doing things in the angelic realms, in the spiritual realm, that you can't even fathom. And so when witches and Satanists read evil incantations and spells, which is why you're not to go to them, you never do that stuff, they're cursing people too. They're causing terrible things to happen. They're summoning demons. Bad things are happening on the earth and in the spiritual realm in hell because of what they're doing. So as religious, we counteract that. We preach the gospel. We say mass. We do, because that is the only thing keeping a balance between good and evil. And if you haven't figured it out, as a lot of people are figuring it out now, it's becoming more and more obvious right now that we are, in fact, living the Bible stories, the book of Revelation, that we are in the end times. It's very obvious to most Catholics and Christians at this point. If you're really a true believer, a true devout Catholic, a Christian who's living and believing and praying and doing what you're supposed to every day, the Lord is showing you very clearly, yes. But there's other naysayers, it's probably not the end, and you can't... Don't listen to those people. First of all, none of us know the day or the hour. But we know the seasons, and we know what to expect, and we recognize what's happening. He didn't say it was going to happen in 24 hours. It could be, to God, a day is 1,000 years. And a year to us, and 1,000 years to us is a day for God. So he's not bound by time. When he says it, it's done. That's it. So, we can't judge by that. But you need to recognize what's going on. And when they shut the churches down for this whole COVID thing, did you watch how fast the world went into turmoil? People probably didn't even realize this. I know the atheists and the ungodly didn't even think about this, because they don't go to church anyway. So they don't understand any of this stuff. When they forbid Mass, when they kept us from going and many people fell away from the faith, from church. Oh, I'm afraid of COVID. I only went on Sunday anyway, or wasn't that serious anyway. But the people who were serious about it kept going, even if they had to do it underground. I know I did. I did not go. God bless me, and I'm not going to tell you how because I don't want people to get in trouble. But I had Mass, well, not Mass, but like a close to it, Holy Communion, adoration, and confession every day during the pandemic. So, and because I complained to the Lord, I said, Lord, now that I'm not in seminary, I can't be with my brothers. I can't have Mass every day. I can't receive Holy Communion every day. They're shutting down the churches. There's no Masses to go. I'm in trouble. I can't go to confession when I need to. I don't want to go down with the rest of this world. I want to be here. I never told him to close this down. I want to be there. He made a way through a holy priest who risked a lot to do this, but we were able to receive. Very few of us. There was maybe 5 of us. Then it grew to about 30 towards the end. But then by that time, they had lifted the restrictions. But it was so amazing that any time I needed, I had a priest. Even if they came to the house during the pandemic. Anytime God answered, got me confession. Anytime I wanted adoration, I found it. I got it. Anytime I wanted Holy Communion, I got it. God is good. He knew that I did not want that. And I told him, I said, Jesus, if I leave this seminary, I'm leaving you. I will not have the tabernacle to go and lay prostrate in front of at 2 a.m. and talk and pour my heart out to you. I will not be able to visit you. I won't have the privilege of knowing that on the other side of my bedroom wall is the church and the tabernacle, like right there. Like Jesus is on the other side of my bed in seminary. It was amazing. Like, I don't want to give that up, but I can't stay here with these people. They're terrible to me. I'm never going to be able to be who you need me to be in this place. I'm not welcome here because I'm too traditional, too conservative. So I got to go somewhere else where I can really be the real me and not compromise. These guys are ruthless towards me. They just don't want me here. So I don't need to be where I'm not wanted, but I don't want to leave you. I had 3 tabernacles, 3 different chapels. Mary's Chapel in the basement, the main chapel, and St. Joseph's, our order's chapel. And I visited almost every one of them every night. Even when everybody was sleeping, I'm up at 2, 3 in the morning praying for people. And sometimes I'd fall asleep on my face in the floor in front of the tabernacle. So when this COVID thing happened and when I left the seminary, I couldn't get to church as much as maybe a couple times a week. And then the pandemic happened and it was like I complained to the Lord. I'm like, see, Lord, this is why I can't be away from you. I can't. And the devil was attacking me fiercely. My God, the things that happened to me when I left seminary, until I was allowed to have adoration again every day through this holy priest and confession and Holy Communion every day, then it was amazing. During the pandemic, the attacks were a lot less, and I was growing in grace and virtue, and it was amazing. And then when they lessened the restrictions, now we only have Mass once a week or a couple times a week again, and we only have confession like once a week. I could always get it myself because I know the priest, so he'll come to my house if I want him to. Sometimes I gotta beg, but he'll even get up at 10 o'clock at night and come to me. That I'm blessed. God is taking care of my needs. And he gives me last rites whenever I need it, whenever I'm going for a surgery, and there's been a lot of them, so God is good. He's got me. He's got me. I don't want to be separated from him. I do stupid things all the time to upset him and get me into trouble, but I go right back to confession. I mean it. I'm going to do this to the end. And so God has been providing all these things for me, but now all of a sudden, since the church has been back in session, I'm not able to go every day to adoration. I'm not able to have Holy Communion every day again. I work now, and I've been so sick lately, it's hard to even go to church. It's hard for me to even pray lately. I fall asleep trying to pray the rosary. I'm so sick sometimes. I don't understand, but I try to persevere. And there are little miracles here and there. Like, God shows me I'm still with you. Keep going. But and special signal graces from the Blessed Mother, from her scapula, and the brown scapula and the miraculous medal I wear, which I never take off. And she promised, and she comes through. She comes through. So, you got to get yourself these things and do it. Get enrolled in it, But ever since I got enrolled in this thing, the attacks have been even worse. And I'm like going to my priest, my confession. I'm like, what is up? I put this on and got serious, even more serious, because I want to be a saint now. And so this means that I'm all in. And now the attacks are way worse than ever. And he's like, Stephen, you need to expect that. Satan doesn't take out people he's already got. It's the people he's losing, the people who are closer to Christ, that he's going to pay more attention to, because you're escaping and you're causing damage to his kingdom. Your mouth is causing damage to the kingdom of darkness. Every time you lead a soul to Christ, to church, to confession, you're praying for the dying, the Divine Mercy Chapel, he's losing souls and he's mad, he's coming after you. You have a wanted poster in hell now. It's like, all right, I'm trusting you, that's what's going on here, because either that or God's angry at me, I don't know. But then God shows me things, like amazing things to show me I'm not mad at you. I'm here, Stephen. I got it. You just have to go through this. How am I going to know if you truly love me to the death if I don't test you? How are you going to grow in virtue and in faith and in strength and believe in me if you're going to, every time you have a headache or you're in the hospital, you give up faith and you run the other way and say, God doesn't love me. That's it. It's over. I'm dying. I mean, you can't be like this. Keep your mind set. Keep your eyes on me. Don't keep being wishy-washy, double-minded, forked tongue. Stop. Like, I need you on board here, and it's not going to be pleasant. This is war. And you're on the front line, and you didn't ask just to be a soldier. You're asking to be a general, so this is what it takes. You want to lead people, you're going to be the biggest target. Satan knows he has to take out the generals of the armies if he can, not just the soldiers. He doesn't go after the drummer boy, which I actually took up learning how to play the drum, actually, a fife and drum, because I want to be a drummer boy for God. Like, it's like I will be in a military, one form or another, and I'm going to play that drum for Christ, like the drummer boy song in Christmas time. Like, it's just something I feel like I want to learn to do for God. And when I'm at that fife and drum corps, and we're practicing, and we're playing those battle hymns, and I'm like, yeah, it's on. It's like, I can't wait till Jesus gets back here, and the war's going to be on. I'm going to fight the devil, and everything's going to be great eventually, after the war. And, I can't wait. I'm like, look, God gave me the heart of a warrior. I'm courageous. I want to be there. I'd be a military general right now if I could, if my body had allowed. I'd be a chaplain out there with my Bible in the front line in a war, Like, I'm not worried about that. I just can't because this stupid body, it's like, Lord, why did you give me a strong heart in such a weak body? This body is like a cage. I couldn't wait to get out of it. Like, it won't let me be the person I want so much to be because I'm so limited. And the only thing I can think of is that God is saying, Stephen, for your own good, I have to do this because you get ahead of me. You don't have temperance and prudence. You're too much for your own good sometimes. So I have to slow you down and put some chains on you because otherwise you're like a puppy. You let him out of a cage and you can't wait. And you mean well, but you're all over the place, like a bull in a china shop. So for your own good, I gotta limit you. Because you're going to get yourself in trouble. Like, I need you to focus and do what I want to do. It's not about what you want anymore. You told me that you work for me, that you're all in. It's my will now, not yours. So if I want to put you in a trailer of some old lady, that's where you're going. If I want to rip you out of seminary, that's where you're going. If I want to put you and make you a priest, that's where you're going. You will do what I want you to do. And remember, Jonah, who thought he was going to get away from what I told him to do. And I told him you could do it the easy way or you can do it the hard way. If you do it with me, it'll be a lot easier. Well, Jonah decided, no, Lord, I'm not going to do what I told you I would do. And he tried to jump on a ship and go in the opposite direction. And we know what happened with that. God sent a tempest, a giant storm. And it went on for days. And then finally the people realized that somebody on board God was angry at. And it happened to be Jonah. And so finally Jonah, he knew they were all going to sink and die if he didn't fess up. So he told the captain and the crew, he said, it's me that the Lord is angry at. I'm the reason why this storm is raging. You have to throw me overboard. You have to kill me because I'm the one. And as soon as you do, the storm will stop. But God's angry at me. It's something I did. I'm running from him. I broke a promise. I'm sorry. Just throw me overboard and then you'll be fine. And so they did. And as soon as they did, he was swallowed up by a whale. And, because God provided a fish, because he wasn't going to let him drown because he had something he needed to do for God. So you don't die until God says you die. And so if you're in the middle of the ocean, God will swallow you in the belly of a whale if he has to keep you until you do what he wants you to do. Literally. It's not a joke. If he could part the ocean, he could send a whale. And so the storm ceased and the people were happy and they went on their way. And Jonah was stuck 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a whale. Miserable as all heck, probably cursing God, wishing he could die, because that's disgusting. The smell alone in the darkness, that's nasty. And it was probably a very miserable time. And that's what happens when you're in God's doghouse. You upset your father, you're going to get punished. He's a father, but you're going to get time out. And trust me, I know that very well. I go through it often. And I'm a thick-headed kid, I don't learn, so I got to keep getting beaten. But the whale spit Jonah up on the shore of the place he was supposed to go originally that he refused to go in the first place. And so he had to do what God told him to do. And he did. And then he grumbled and complained to God. And what he was supposed to do was warn the people of Nineveh that if they don't repent and wear ashes and sackcloth for the terrible atrocities and abominations they were committing. Sound like America? Sound like abortion and gay marriage? Yeah. Okay, well, Sodom and Gomorrah type stuff. Well, God was going to destroy them if they did not do this. And he sent his prophet, because he always warns through his people. He always sends a prophet or somebody to warn before he acts, before he unleashes his judgment. He warns the people, give them a chance to repent. See, Satan doesn't do that. He lies to you until you're trapped. He's not trying to save you. He's trying to kill you. God will warn you, and he'll always send somebody to warn you before he unleashes death and destruction. So, because he doesn't want anybody to be lost. Well, Jonah gave the message, and the people actually listened, because he had the anointed words. And God was happy, and he said, then I'm not going to destroy this city. I'm going to give him a chance. And Jonah was mad. He's like, I had to go through all of that and spend 3 days in the belly of a whale to come here. These people deserve to go to hell. They're evil. They're abominable. Look what they're doing. They're terrible people. Burn this place. I wanted that asteroid to come down and destroy this place. Why are you letting them off the hook? And God said, I did not send you here to condemn them. I'm God. You're not you. These are my children too. I love them just as much as I love you. They're my creation. I don't want to lose them. You think I want to punish them? You think I want to throw them into hell? I'm giving them a chance to repent. So Jonah got all mad, had a hissy fit, and then, God mocked him and punished him a little bit. He was thirsty, and it was hot, and he let this leaf God grew up, this plant, this tree or whatever, grew up overnight to shelter Jonah from the sun, but then it withered away, and God was showing him that, basically, playing games with him, showing him listen, without me, you don't exist. You're going to die. You need me. I grew that thing for you overnight. You need me. Don't anger me. Don't challenge me. I'm your father. I'm God. You're going to do it my way, or you're going to pay. So Jonah learned the hard way. I'm learning the hard way. I'm waiting for this to end. Lord, please, when is this going to end? When are you going to let me be prosperous again? The Lord gave me a word very miraculously. That would be a whole nother video to get into detail with that. But years ago in 2011, he gave me this word very clearly, supernaturally. I mean, I might as well tell you the quick version of it. I'm confident, and not only was it an angel, if it wasn't an angel, it was my mother. My mother died when I was 5. This woman, I was in Walmart, long story, there was a lot more to the story, but basically I got this word from this woman, and she looked so familiar, and I thought she worked there because she was unloading boxes at Walmart in Brantford, but she wasn't dressed up as everybody else who works there, and she told me, she gave me a message from God. It was literally on a piece of, I still have it in my room, and it said, Jeremiah 29:11. And it said, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And then it said on there something about when the time was right, the seas parted, the lions went hungry, the wall came down, and then the Son of Man ascended into heaven. And when the time is right again, the King of Kings will return. And then it said at the bottom, God is never early and is never late. He's always right on time, and his plans for you are good. And there was a lot more to the story. Amazing thing happened, and it's just like a whole long, another hour episode. But, I mean, God has been there doing these amazing things. And then the lady disappeared. Practically right before my eyes. She was gone. I searched that whole store top and bottom, the outside, inside. I went to talk to the manager of the store to describe this woman. He's like, we don't have anybody that old who works here. And she would be wearing the Walmart shirt. What you're describing, I never even seen her. That doesn't make any sense. When I got home, I ended up seeing a photo of my mother from when I was 5. It was my mom. I don't know how God did it, but it was my mother. Except she had the same exact outfit on the last time I saw her, the day she died. Right down to the clods. Remember those leather wooden clods that they would wear with tight blue denim jeans in the 80s, the early 80s, with the plaid button-up shirts? Women would wear those. Well, and she had her hair up in a bun, However, the reason I didn't recognize her right away was because, and I know she's in heaven, is because she even visited my father. He even told me that she came to warn him about something that was going on in the family and that God was not pleased and he needed to rectify the situation, which he tried, but obviously it didn't work because here I am and my family still didn't listen. But my mother was sent by God from heaven to give my dying father one last warning. She said, "You are the head of this household as the father, as the husband. You need to warn them to stop the nonsense. God is not happy right now with this family, the way they're treating Stephen, the way your daughters are treating each other. It has to end. It has to stop. You must warn them that God said this stops now." They didn't listen to my father. They thought, oh, well, he's dying of cancer. He's probably hallucinating. He wasn't hallucinating. In fact, my mother had left. She was grabbing him so firmly when she shook him awake one night at 2 in the morning that she left a handprint on his arm because he had leukemia and it was very easy to bruise. And you could see her whole entire hand on his arm where she grew up. And even my stepmother at the time said that, she believed that it happened. She was laying next to him. But she's skeptical, so she didn't know what she was seeing. And she's like, I can't tell. I don't know. We saw it, but my father knows and I know. Anyway, the reason I didn't recognize this woman in Walmart was because she looked the way she would look now in her 70s. Not the way she was when she was 40 when she died. So same everything, same makeup, but just older. So that's why I didn't recognize her at first. But then I realized and I'm like, wow. And that's not the first time I've encountered dead relatives that I've prayed for and stuff. So, and they give me messages and encouragement and words from the Lord. And some people say that's necromancy. I'm not looking for it. I'm not a medium. I'm not trying to do that. You can't stop people from coming to you, They show up in my room. What do you want me to do? I throw holy water at them. If they disappear, then I know that's from the wrong place. If they still come and laugh and they give me the message, then I say they're still there, then they're from God. So I'm not really. I know people think I'm nuts. I'm not. Whatever. I wouldn't want anybody to have to be me, but at the same time, I've gotten over complaining to God that my life is so strange, and now I'm just like, thank you, Lord, that I have a very different, unique, unbelievable life. But man, the suffering. Could we just tone it down with the suffering a bit? Can I have some joy once in a while, some blessing? Or does it have to be constant crosses all the time? But I see the state of the world and of my family, and I realize that every saint will tell you that suffering is important to offer up to God. When He gives you a lot of suffering, you must use it and offer it up every day with your prayers, your works, your joys. Offer everything up as a prayer and a sacrifice to God on the cross with His for the conversion of your loved ones and for people and for the souls in purgatory. It's important. And some of the saints said, in apparitions to other saints and whatever, they basically said, there was a saint that asked another saint who had come and visit him from heaven. He said, "What is your biggest regret?" And they said, I don't know if it was Pio who said this or Faustine or some. One of them said, a lot of people up here will say this: as happy as we are to be in heaven, our biggest regret is how we wasted time on earth, that we didn't pray more, have Mass more, receive Holy Communion more, and that we didn't suffer more. A lot of times we ask God to take our suffering away. We did not realize the value of suffering. Suffering to God is like heavenly currency. It affects your status of where you're going to be for all eternity. There are some people down here, just like in this system, in this world, you have some people who are president, some people who are, poor, some people. It's like a system like that up in heaven too. You'll have, and that's where you'll stay for eternity, depending on the merits and the crowns that you earned during your time here. So if you want to be a super saint and be closest to God, like right next to God in heaven, then you have to suffer much and have many crowns, and you're going to have to be a super saint. And that's going to be a lot of suffering and stuff that you really have to do it right. And so you'll be lucky. All of us, I'll be lucky to even be able to cut the grass there. I mean, honestly, I'll be lucky to be a janitor and clean toilets. I'm not going to complain. I'm not looking to be a super saint. I just want to be there. So, because the alternative, again, is hell, and I don't want to be there. So, I'm working for sanctity just so I can get there. And maybe God will surprise me and I'll be higher up somewhere on the tier. I don't know. Maybe I'll be close to Him. I don't know. But that scares me because I don't like what that means. I'm going to have to endure to get there. So, I don't ask for too much anymore. But the saints said that if we knew the value of suffering, we would have asked God to give us more time on earth and a lot more suffering. And they suffered terribly. Some of these people died of terrible diseases, stonings, burned at the stake. Can you imagine saying, more, Lord, more? The fire's not hot enough? Can I come back and be burned at the stake 3 more times? Because my family really needs the suffering. And I could have been higher up in heaven. I could have been more like Christ when I got there if I had really endured more. So, but you only get one shot, so they're not coming back now, and so that's their regret. I am not at that point yet where I'm like, Lord, more. I still keep complaining, like, please, Lord, no more. Can you take this away? And every once in a while, I'll be suffering terribly, and all of a sudden, He'll take it away for a day. Just instantly. I could be in the most tremendous pain and sickness and nausea, and then I'll lay down prostrate in front of the tabernacle at like Our Lady of Grace Monastery. It's perpetual adoration. And not every time. I try, but not every time. But once in a while. And I'll lay there and I'll pour my heart out and I'll surrender to Him. And then all of a sudden I'll get up and there's not a bit of pain. I feel 20 years old again. I can run down the street like nothing. I mean, it's amazing. And I'm like, oh, Lord, I don't want that to come back again. And then the next day it does. And I'm like, oh, I feel like I was hit by a truck. And it's almost like you don't even want to experience the lack of pain and then have to go back to it again. But that's God's way of saying, I hear you, I love you, I'll do you this favor and take it off of you for now. I'll lift this cross off your shoulders for a little while, give you a little rest, a little break, so you don't forget what it's like to be human and normal and pain-free. But it's coming back, and actually tomorrow your cross is going from wood to cement, so be ready. It's like you're going to need this little reprieve, this little break, because tomorrow you have a much bigger cross. It's like, joy, can't wait. So, and thus is life. Like I said, I hope people are learning from this. I know that you're probably either thinking, this kid's, what the hell did we get ourselves involved with here? This guy's a nutcase. I'm not. I'm telling you. I've had my share of therapists. I'm not. You either believe or you don't. If you're not going to believe me, it's like the Bible said. Like there was a story in the Bible where the man's in hell and he was asking the Lord to send his servant to bring him some water because his flames were killing him in hell. And he's like, just give me a glass of water. Have my servant, he's still alive, he's blessed by you, he's one of your favorites. Have him come and just at least dip the end of his dagger into water so I could have a drop of water on my tongue. And Jesus said, no, I'm sorry. Once you're in hell, that's it. No refreshment for you forever. That's it. You're forever. And he's like, well, at least send my servant to go warn my brothers, my family, not to come here, to not do what I did, to obey you. And the Lord said to him, even if I were to send somebody from the dead to come back and warn them, they still would not believe. They still would not listen. They have to choose on their own. That's what free will is all about. I am not going to force them. I'm not going to snap my fingers and make them believe. If they ask me for faith, I will give it. If they ask me for grace, if they want me, then let them come to me. But it is enough. I have sent many prophets into the world since the beginning. And they have written the Bible, and they have the Bible. They can pick it up and read it at any time. If they refuse to do that, that is their choice, and it has eternal consequences. But I am not going to force anyone to read my word and to believe it. And I'm not going to keep sending people to warn them. If they've had plenty of time, he told this man. He said, they've had plenty of time. I've already sent them plenty of people, and they still disregarded it. Sending somebody from the dead now to warn them is still not going to do anything. It's going to go right over their head. Otherwise, trust me, I would do it to save their souls. But I'm telling you, I'm God, and I know their future. I know what they're going to do, and it's not going to work. I'm sorry. You and your family are just, you didn't want to do what you don't want to believe. So I'm trying to get people as much as I can to understand that this is not a game. And I don't care if UFOs show up tomorrow at the White House lawn and say, here we are, we created mankind, it's over, no need for God, here's the New World Order. No, that's the deception the Bible is warning about. I don't care if there's aliens. In fact, I'm pretty sure there are. I know there are. I'm not even going to get into that one, but I know there are. My dad knew there were. He was a cop. He had to report it. I'm not even going to get into another story, but listen, I don't care. I don't care. There's a lot of things on this planet that you might not have seen that actually exist. With God, all things are possible. That's the beauty of life. But Stick to what Jesus said and what the Bible has said. That is the narrow truth. It's so simple that it's unbelievable. It's so simple that nobody wants to believe it, because people have a habit of making things a mountain out of a molehill. If it's too easy, too simple, oh, I just got to do this and that's it, I just got to believe. Yeah, they don't take it. It's like they want to make everything so much more difficult for themselves. They want to do everything on their own. And then they get frustrated because it's not working. Well, yeah, it's not working because if it's out of God's will, it's not going to work. And you're not meant to do things on your own. You were created with a God-shaped hole inside your soul, in your heart, for His Holy Spirit. And without it, you can do nothing. Nothing much. Like with Him, you can do many things. So, and if that void is going to be filled by something. And if you don't fill it with the Holy Spirit, you're going to be filled by Satan. Somebody's going to take up that space, because nature abhors a void. There's a vacuum in space for a reason. It cannot stand a void. It will fill it. So you either be filled with the Holy Spirit, or you're going to be filled with worldliness and evil. You choose. Choose this day, like Jesus said, whom you're going to serve. That's your choice. It's free will. You may think you're going to heaven because you're a good person or you don't need God, whatever. But on Judgment Day, you're going to realize it's too late. So I'm trying with the rest of the time I have in my life. I might live to be 70, which I think I'm going to. Or I might die in a month. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's up to God. I just want to make sure I'm ready that when I do die, I'm not going to hell. Because you die in the state you're in, and if I'm in mortal sin, I'm going to hell, and that's it. And all of this was for nothing for me. It might have gotten 1,000 people to God, and they go to heaven, but I screwed up still, and I'm going to hell. And that's just how it is. So I'm trying like heck to stay a saint here. And I wouldn't do this. I lost everything for this. Like, seriously, anybody who knows me, I gave up everything and lost everything, and now I'm in a very bad shape. Do you think that I would have risked that? Risked my life, given up everything, a movie career, everything, risked my family relationship, left seminary, if I did not know for certain what I'm preaching to you is true? I would either have to be the most insane moron on this planet, or somebody who really likes self-sabotage. I mean, that right there is still insanity. Or I'm telling you the truth. So you don't want to take it don't take my word for it. There's a million other saints that you could read the lives of the saints, read the Bible, go to church, talk to your priest. Come on, guys. There's a lot of us down here. And we all have very similar experiences and stories. Maybe not as intense as mine, but they are a little bit unbelievable, and if I wasn't living them, I wouldn't believe it myself. If somebody came up to me and said that, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I have a number for a therapist for you. But seriously, luckily God has also given me the right spiritual directors, the right vocation directors at the time, and the right confessors. And these are charismatic men who are very devout, very holy people. Some of them are published. They write books. They're probably modern day saints, or will be one day. And I have been very blessed along this journey that God has even given me the right people and the right priests, the right mentors, the right spiritual directors, the right confessors at the right time in my life. So when I talk to them, because some of these guys are literally therapists. They have therapy degrees, like psychiatry degrees. They would have told me that I needed counseling. I tell them everything just as I'm telling you. Not all in 1 hour, but I mean, we walk together. We see each other every week, It's a whole process. And none of them, even at seminary, I was blessed with Father Jan Dizan, and he never doubted me once. Never. I told him everything, and he never thought I was crazy. He believed me. In fact, how we met was I used to have to try to get away from people because I like my space. And in that seminary, you're always shoulder to shoulder with everybody all day long. In class, at the cafeteria, I'll sit at a table by myself in front of a window because I like to see outside and get some sun. And they'll close the curtains and you have 30 guys all around me. It's like, guys, there's plenty of other tables. I'm not the president. Why do you have to sit here? Well, I can't. We all like to sit and eat together. I'm like, well, I sat here to be away from you, no offense. But they had to on top of you all the time. And then in the chapel, they put the chairs right next to each other, and you have 30, 40 guys crammed into this tiny 10 by 12 room on top of each other. They're like breathing in your face. And these guys have really bad breath sometimes in the morning. Real bad. Some are eating garlic they're from other countries. I'm like dying. I'm like, Lord, I can't even breathe. But so I wanted my space. So anyway, whenever I didn't have class or whatever, I would go outside and I'd walk even a mile into the woods if I had to and go pray in my rosary just to get away from people and talk to God. Where I can go and talk to him and not be looked at like a kook and, get what I need to get from him. And while I was behind a mausoleum, long story short, there's a mausoleum in the back for people when you're actually ordained and you're one of the SCJs. That's where you'll be buried, in this mausoleum on property. And I went back there and I always said, well, if I stay here, I want that top spot on the top right over there. It's empty. That's where I want to go. And I remember at a funeral for a priest, one of the formators who hated me, I told him, I'm like, if I die, can you please, I want that spot. And he goes, no, you're going down there at the bottom under my feet so that for all eternity you're always under my feet. Real nice, Father Joseph. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then he said, God may love you, but I do not. And God may forgive you, but I do not. And I'm like, and this was a therapist and a priest. And a formator, my superior. Gee, and you wonder why I left? I mean, every day it was like that. So I'm like, thanks. I'm serious. He's like, I'm serious too. I'm like, okay, you would put me at the bottom over there in the water and under your feet. Anyway, so I was back there praying my rosary, just having a conversation with God, thinking nobody was going to be around. It's raining out. It's cold. It's like November, foggy. And this old priest comes around the corner and he's like, I've been standing there for a while watching you have a conversation with nobody. Who are you talking to? I'm like, okay. Odd, awkward. Who do you think I'm talking to? God? He's like, do you see him? I'm like, no, I don't see him, but I know he's there. In fact, I think the Blessed Mother's there too. But anyway, what? Like, I was in the middle of something. Can I help you? And he's like, I'm going to be your spiritual director. And I'm like, I do actually need one because my formators are pressing me I must have a spiritual director. So I was supposed to pick off of a list of spiritual directors that they chose for us, but this guy wasn't really on the list. He was kind of retired, but he lived there anyway on property, and he's still a priest, and he had nothing to do anyway, and he was just very interested. And so he took me on. I said, okay, fine, you're my spiritual director. So we started meeting every week. And I told him things, and he had similar experiences. So he's like, I believe you. I don't think nothing's wrong with you. You're rare. God's got a plan, but I believe you totally, and I can tell you I've experienced the same things. And I'm like, okay, good. So all I can say is, look, when you're walking with God and you're really trying, He's there. He's there for you. He will provide your every need. You might not even know you need it. He'll give you things that you don't even ask for sometimes because He knows you're going to need it. He just supplies. He's got it all figured out. My thing is I've got to try to calm down and stop panicking and say, Lord, I know you've never let me down before. You're not going to let me down now. I mean, you've been walking with me this far for a reason. I might have screwed up. I might have left seminary and maybe had to change everything now. And now you got to come up with a plan B. But I know you're God, and I know you're going to have a plan B for me, and it's going to be fine. It might not be as great and glamorous as the first one, but I know that, your goal is to get me to heaven, and I want to be there. So I'm trusting. Now I'm kind of okay, Lord, I'm trusting you. I trust you, Jesus. I say the Divine Mercy Chaplet, Jesus, I trust in you, but it hurts. I mean, can you please go a little easy on me right now? Can you send some good my way? Something positive, optimistic. And I've got to say, I've been spiritually dry with no answers for weeks or months now. And then finally the past couple days, when I was at my wit's end and literally like, Lord, just kill me. I'd rather die right now because I don't want to be here any longer. This is terrible and I can't deal with it any longer. And then all of a sudden, I felt His presence and He answered strongly in several different ways the past couple days by literally answering my prayers word for word through other people. Unlikely people like Donna, she never sits here and reads scripture to me, and she came up with a song at the right time, and then the scripture passage that I needed to hear. And then there was a woman, Karen Wheaton, she's an evangelist down south, that I watch her videos, and sometimes I'll post them on Facebook, and she always talks about other people, never about me, but she always has a word for somebody, right? And the other day, it was the perfect timing. I just finished praying, and I needed to hear something. And she always mentions she. Like, it's almost like her whole audience is always always women. So it always has a word for a woman about, or a mother who might be going through this, or a marriage problem. And I'm like, why do you say she? Because now it's like, I know that word is not for me, because you're always mentioning females, like you're only preaching to females. The guys watch your stuff too. So you're kind of putting us out like, you never, well, this time, she literally said, she had two words, and she said they were both for me, and it was exactly what I was going through, and she said he. She's like, the Lord told me today that there's going to be a guy watching, and he needs to hear this. And I was like, I was just complaining the other day to the Lord that you're only talking to women, and now you're finally mentioning he. Now, maybe I'm not that guy, so I listened, and even if it wasn't for me, I needed to hear it. It was the right passages of the Bible, and it was exactly what I was complaining to the Lord about. And then this woman, 2,000 miles away or whatever, down south somewhere, is literally walking and doing this video as I'm doing now. She does one every day, and she's like, before I get into my broadcast, I got a word for the Lord from somebody who's going to be watching right now. And I know it was for me. And even if it wasn't, I benefited a lot from those two words that she had, actually. So God speaks when you want to listen. Just not always. He's not going to call you on the phone. He's not always going to talk to you audibly. Very rarely will you hear him audibly. I mean, I have heard audible stuff, but that is so rare and sometimes so low and quiet that you almost, that still small voice, that you could very easily miss it or confuse it with your own mind or your own thoughts. But then the fruit of it is obvious. Like literally, he gave me the lotto numbers one time when my dad died. It's a whole other story. 2 days in a row, the first day I won a lot of money. I listened to it, and I'm like, I wasn't going to believe it, but I listened to it, and it came out exactly as he told me to do it and play it, and I got it. And then the next day I heard it again, but I didn't do it, and I was going to, and I decided, and I changed my mind twice. And I had my hand on the door at the gas station and said, nah, came out. Not only once, but twice that day and night, and I would have had a lot of money. But the point was, when you hear that, and there was a reason for it. Those numbers were significant. It was my birthday and my father's birthday. And we buried my father that day on his birthday, August 30th. And my father, about a week before he died, was upset with me because he told me to play that number for him. And he knew it was going to come out, and I didn't. I forgot. And when I came home, he goes, Stephen, the number came out tonight, and you didn't play it. I was so excited. He's like, that would have been the first time I actually got a chance to win the lottery before I died. I felt so terrible, and it bothered me so much. And then that day, I hear this voice, go to the gas station where your father always goes and play that number now. And I'm like, I can't go there and go and capitalize on his death. We just buried him today on August 30th. It's his birthday. I just left the cemetery. You want me to go and play his birthday? Isn't that a little morbid? So I'm like, no, that's not right. And I heard it again. So I'm like, fine, I'll play it. I played it day and night. $2, not just for $1, but $2 backup. Okay? No, $2 straight. And it came out twice that day and night. And I'm like, and I won. And then the next day, as I realized that I won, I cashed it in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I heard it again as I was walking to the car. Now go back, now go back and play 216, $2 straight for today and tonight. And I'm like, nah, there's no way it's going to happen again. I can't be talking to the Lord. So I heard it again. I was going, and then I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And I started walking back, and I had my hand on the door to open the door and go play the number. And I'm like, nah. Sure enough, it came out, and I don't know, there was a big loud, somebody just fired off a firework or something. Sure enough, it came out, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Now, me and my father were chasing those numbers for years, and we'd always miss it by a day before or the day after. We just kept missing it, and finally, it came out back to back, both days, his birthday and then mine, 216. What a moron. And if you don't believe me, go back and check the lotto numbers. If you can, go back and look up the lotto numbers for play 3, day and night, okay, for August 30th, 2013, and then August 31st, 2013. And you will see on August 30th, 830 came out straight. And then you'll see on August 31st, 216 came out straight. I'm not making this stuff up. I think I even have the tickets somewhere still. I don't have a reason to lie to people. I cannot explain everything. I just trust it. And God is always saying, I want you to trust in me and in my mercy. Tell people, yes, I am a very holy, just God, and I mean every word that I said. But I am also a merciful, loving God. I am love and mercy itself. But that does not mean that I'm going to excuse your sin. So if I tell you you can't be married to another dude, you can't be gay, and don't do that, you might be gay, that's fine, but do not marry and have sex with another man or another woman, whatever. I meant it. So I don't want to hear it. I'm God, I'm your father, I know what I'm doing. You either take it or you leave it. I didn't ask you guys for your opinion or what you want. I don't care if you think you're a woman or a man or whatever. That I told you, I gave you guys, I gave the entire human race a set of rules. And I expect those rules to be obeyed, period. I don't care if you're sick or healthy, rich or poor, black or white, gay or straight, bisexual, I don't care. I don't care if you're an alien. These are the rules. You follow those for the reasons I told you to, so that I know that you are truly my disciple and that you truly love me and that you belong with me. I'm not going to have another mutiny like I had with Satan, okay? Hurt me once, shame on you. Hurt me twice, shame on me. And that's not going to happen. God will never be mocked. He will never be put to shame. So he's not going to take a chance again. So if you wonder why he's so strict, you can thank Satan for that one. And Adam and Eve. Because they all screwed up. It wasn't that way in the beginning. But he gave Satan everything he could ever want. He was the most powerful, most beautiful right-hand angel. There was nobody else compared to him. The only person better than him was God himself. Okay? And that wasn't enough for Satan. He had pride. Why should I serve you when I'm practically like you? I could be a god too. I don't want to serve you. I'm not going to serve your humans. I'm not going to let those human beings, which God ordained to judge me, they're just humans. They're like apes. They need us to do anything. They have no power of their own. They're made in your image and likeness, but they have no power. They're not like us. They're made out of dust of the earth. And you're going to exalt them above the angels and then put them in charge over the angels and let them judge the angels on Judgment Day? I'm not serving you anymore. I'm going to be God. And God warned them, and he still insisted. And there was a lot of angels who agreed with them. I don't know what they were thinking, because that's like biting the hand that feeds you. God is the only God, and there's only one God, and there's nobody more wise or powerful than him. Satan was the creation. So he could never be God, because he's an angel, he's not God. And that's the problem with pride and haughtiness, and he thought who he was. And then he said to God, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven. So God said, so be it, and cast him out. Well, there was a big battle. St. Michael became the next right-hand angel. God gave him Lucifer's spot. And he kicked Lucifer's butt and sent him down here. Yay, thank you for sending him down here with us. And ever since, they've been a thorn in our side. And then Adam and Eve messed up because, they had it made. And it wasn't enough for them. It's never enough. People always have to have more. And Satan got to them, and they listened to him. And they became puffed up with pride and decided to disobey God. And now we all have to pay the consequences. So the angels who followed Lucifer are paying the consequences because now they are ugly, monstrous demons, and they're going to burn in hell. And the humans who disobeyed God, well, guess what? Those were our parents. Adam and Eve were the very first humans, and we are all descendants of them. And because they messed up, we are now suffering in a fallen world because of their sin. One apple or whatever it was, I don't care if it was a grape or a pomegranate. Whatever God said, don't eat that, and they had to go and eat it, right? They had everything else, but one thing. Why is it that with human beings, and angels apparently too, whenever there could be only one thing God says do not do, and that's the one thing that's all you can think about doing. If God tells you not to masturbate, all you want to do is masturbate. If God tells you can't have vanilla ice cream, suddenly you might not even like ice cream. You might be lactose intolerant. Suddenly, all you can think of is going down to Dairy Queen and getting ice cream like right away, like yesterday. Got to have the ice cream. Now, if God didn't tell you not to have it, all of a sudden you don't like ice cream. We always want what we're not supposed to have. The one rule, we are such a lawless generation. You give one rule and you got to break it because that's the one thing you don't have. That's pride. That's why pride is the root of all evil, the root of all sin. So be it. So now we learn the hard way. So we're all learning and paying the price until Judgment Day, and the angels are paying their price. But I'll tell you this much, it worked. God knew that we were going to do that. He knew. He still allowed it to happen because of free will, and because now nobody's going to dare do that again. It's like you can warn a child, a 5-year-old, don't touch the stove, it's hot. But it's so pretty, look, it's glowing. Don't touch the stove, it's hot, you're going to get burned. What do they do? The minute you leave the room, I don't believe you. And they burn their hand, and they cry, and your parents like, I told you, if you touch the stove, it's going to burn. Now you're not going to touch it again, are you? No? Okay, why? Because you all right, so this is what happens. We don't learn our lesson, and we have to do it anyway to find out, like, as if God's lying to us, like he doesn't know any better, and then we suffer the consequences. And so that's what Satan did, and that's what Adam and Eve did, and that's what we're all still doing, and this is ridiculous. So God had to come down and die on a cross because we're just idiots like that. So, moving right along, present day. Now, I hope this makes sense to anybody watching as to why things are the way they are. God set certain rules. He is your father. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what's best for you. Just obey him to the best of your ability. And you got to fight the flesh because your flesh does not want to obey. It's going to do everything not to obey. And that is why your spirit needs to be in the Word of God. And you need to have your spirit control and be stronger. Feed your spirit so that it will be stronger than your flesh. And your flesh doesn't. Otherwise, your flesh will take over. And your spirit's going to go places your flesh wants to go, but the spirit doesn't want to go. All right, so it's like this body is a car. Now, can you imagine if you're getting in your car and you have to go to work, but your car decides that it doesn't care where you want to go, it's going to take you down, it's going to drive you to Florida instead of taking you to work. Now you're stuck in this car and you have no control over it and it's taking you for a ride instead of you operating the car. You wouldn't get in a car again, would you? So this body is like a car. Now, you are inside in the spirit form. You need to tell this body what to do, when to eat. You need to control it, when to talk, when to eat, when it sleeps, when it prays. It's going to fight you like a child, tooth and nail to the day you die. But you have got to take control. You are not this. This is not you. You are a soul inside this thing. Okay, this is just skin deep. Don't let this fleshly carcass dictate your future, your eternity, and where you're going to go every day, and what you're going to do, and what you're going to eat. It wants to. It's got a life of its own. It's evil. It's from fallen nature. You got to get control over it. The only way you're going to do that is by being close to Christ, praying, fasting, reading the Word of God, doing what God told you to do, so that you can mortify and control this flesh and get to heaven. Otherwise, this flesh is nothing but an anchor tied to you, wrapped around like a ball and chain on your soul, and it's going to drag you down to hell when it dies. It's going to be like trying to go to heaven, and you got this heavy corpse attached to you, and you're not going anywhere because you can't move because you got this hellbound body just attached to you. You're going down. Hopefully, this is making sense the way I'm explaining it to people. Anyway, I don't know. I was saying something else before. I guess I just got off track, but it doesn't matter. Pride, whatever, the mausoleum. I'm all over the board, but hopefully you're able to keep up with me. I got so many things to share with people, so many things I learn every day from the Lord, from personal experience, from supernatural encounters and experience. All I can tell you is that Jesus Christ is Lord and He is real. His mother is real. Heaven is real. Hell is real. You need to get on board. If you're not listening to me, then you're wasting your time. You're probably not. Nobody's probably been watching this anymore anyway. But if you are, I hope you're learning something. This is not a game. Okay? The world is a big deception, and you just have to take only what you need and do what you need to do to survive. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's for a time being, but you put God first, and you realize who you belong to. Okay? It's like that song that just came to my mind. I love singing that Michael Bublé song for karaoke. Save the last dance for me. The words in the song say, go, dance, laugh, and play. Have a good time with that guy. But don't forget who's taking you home. And if they ask you, can they walk you home, you must tell them no. You're already spoken for. You and I belong to Christ, or should, unless you haven't given Him your life. And so, don't forget that while you're in this world dancing and playing and working and whatever, you're supposed to be going home to heaven when the day is over, when your life is done, which could happen at any time. You could die of a heart attack, aneurysm, whatever. You need to make sure that you're going home. That's who you belong to. That's who you answer to. Your Father in heaven, you are his servant, his slave, his child. He created you for him and his purpose, and that's what you need to focus on. Figure out what that is and do it before your time is up, or you're not going home. And you don't want to be going home with Satan and burning. So be careful. That's all I can tell you. I don't care what happens from this point on. I don't care if aliens drop out of the sky. I don't care if the end of the world comes tomorrow. I don't care if it never comes in your lifetime. This truth is true from the beginning of time, and it will always be true. God said everything may change, but my word will not change. Because God, the word of God, he calls himself the word, the living word. He doesn't change. Always was, always is, and always will be. It's never going to change. So don't try changing things. The church could try to change doctrine and time. It's not going to work. God said what he said. He meant it. Don't cross him, or you're going to find out the hard way. Jesus said, and I'm going to end with this, tell them of my mercy. I am coming first right now as the King of mercy. But the gates of mercy are closing before the day of my second coming arrives. And when I arrive, the gates are closed to my mercy. And I will arrive as the King of justice. Okay? If you did not take advantage of accepting my mercy and asking me for mercy and getting in through the gates of my mercy while you had the chance, you're locked out, and I am going to kill you because I'm coming back with a sword. I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to throw you into hell with the rest of the wicked. Because that is my judgment. I do not want to do this, but I am also a just God. I am pure, holy, and just. My mercy does not want this, but my justice demands it. So please, take advantage of my mercy now. Ask me, beg me for mercy to be saved. Repent of your sins and follow me now while you still have time. Because as soon as you die, it is too late and those gates are closed. And you're going to meet my justice. You will not stand in front of the gold throne of mercy. Okay? Of reward. You're going to be standing in the front of the white throne of judgment. And there's not going to be anything you can say or do. And you're not going to get a second chance to come back here and do things right. It's over. It's sealed for eternity. You're done. You're going to hell. Forever. Now is the time of my mercy, Jesus says. Tell them. Tell them that I love them. Tell them that I am merciful. Yes, I am a fearsome God. Don't cross me. Obey. Don't sin. But if you do, run back to my mercy. Make a true contrite act of contrition. Get to confession as soon as you can. He'll work with you. He's not trying, this isn't a game of gotcha. He's not trying to catch you. Ha ha, you sin, that's over, I'm going to throw you to hell. He doesn't want that. He's a father. I mean, what normal parent, normal, not like my family, but normal, would, and some of you are parents, when your kid does something wrong, are you going to throw him into a fiery pit, or are you going to want to forgive him? They're still your kid. You love them. You want the best. You might be angry. You might punish them. You might slap them. You might ground them but eventually you're going to calm down. You're going to want them to admit what they did wrong, and you're going to forgive them. You want to forgive them. You don't want bad for them. You're not trying to hurt them. You're trying to teach them the right way to protect them for their own good. You know, if you have a curfew, you don't want them out past midnight or whatever, there's a reason for it. You know, you don't want them doing what we probably did and got in trouble. And I could have been in hell so many times because I didn't have a curfew and I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing as a kid. We'll leave it at that. You know, but had I had stricter parents, maybe I wouldn't have done those things so much. But I was a rebellious brat. I would have found a way anyway. Disobedient to my parents. You know, I was a jerk. So thank God. But my kids, I tell you, if I have kids, they're not going to be raised that way. I'm going to not make sure they didn't turn out to me like me. They're going to be the Steve that I am now, not the Steve I was. Because I'm not going to tolerate that. But the point is, God's a father. He loves us. He doesn't want to punish us for eternity. He doesn't want us to have to suffer his justice. He wants us saved, to obey, to be holy, to be like him. He wants us in heaven. So he's given us chance after chance after chance, and he's been warning, and he's been sending earthquakes and all kinds of things, and even election fraud, and all these things that are going on. It's all part of it. You need him. See, I feel like somebody just literally tapped me in the head. Like, you got it, okay? Mercy, literally. I I've actually had water. I don't know where it comes. It just literally materializes in church and some drops on my head every once in a while. It's almost like an oil. I don't. It's some supernatural thing that happens. But anyway, usually like a sign that I'm right on. Anyway, the point is, like, if you're watching this, mercy. God's time of mercy is coming to a close. You don't know when you're going to die, and even if He doesn't return for another 200 years, you are dead, and it's too late. So do you understand this is important now? Look at the way the world is. It is going to get worse. It has gotten very bad. It's going to get to the point where it's not going to be any denying that the Bible is true, and at that point, unless you don't know what the Bible said, and that's your fault, then you'll be deceived because you won't even know what you're looking at or what's happening. You're going to think it's normal or, aliens or whatever they're going to throw at you. Whatever Satan's concocting, you're going to buy it. Okay? Those of us who know we're not going to fall for it, we're probably going to have to be persecuted and killed, martyred, because we're not going to go for it. But if you don't know God and His Word, you're going to go with the New World Order agenda, and you might save your life, and you might be a slave to the system, and maybe you'll be a million. Who knows? Maybe the devil will give you whatever you want. But then when you die, you're done. You're going to hell for eternity. Nothing is worth burning in lava for all eternity. So you may want to say, well, then I just won't believe in hell. It's not going to stop you from going there. It doesn't change the reality. Trust me. Do you want to gamble with your soul? Do you really take a chance? Do you really think I spent, 2 hours sitting here talking to you like I don't have anything better to do? I've got a splitting headache. I'm in a lot of pain. I could be resting right now. Okay? I could be eating my dinner right now. I'm sitting here doing this for all of the people who this might affect because I know for a fact, and you're not going to change my mind. I will die right now. If somebody puts a gun to my head, do me the favor. I'm not going to renounce Christ. I'm telling you this is true, and you need to know that. So I'm not trying to proselytize or pontificate. Forgive me. No, I shouldn't even have to ask you for forgiveness for doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I know that God told me He wants me to do it. He made it very clear to me several times, this is what I'm supposed to do, and that's why I'm good at what I do, and that's why I never shut up, because I can't, because it's a gift, and I need to do it, and we're running out of time. And so those with ears to hear, those who are going to hear, and we're planting seeds, and it's going to grow some fruit in their life, and they're going to come to the Lord, great. This is going to reach those people. There's going to be a lot of people who have already come on and off. I can see when people are watching and then they hear me and then they turn it off. No interest. Maybe you should have invested the 2 hours and listened to me. Maybe you could relate to a lot of the things I go through. Maybe some of the things you've experienced yourself and didn't know what they were. Maybe this should sharpen you. Iron sharpens iron. Maybe this will increase your faith. Maybe you're learning something by listening to me. I'm not lying to you. It's all scriptural. So, you got nothing to lose by listening to me and trusting me. I'm leading you to Christ. He takes it from there. I'm telling you, believe Him, obey Him, worship Him, follow Him, go to church, go to confession. It is real. You need Jesus. This is not a joke. I'm not saying that lightly. You need Him. You need Him. You need Him for heaven. You need Him to survive what's coming. You need Him. I cannot stress that enough. That's all I can tell you in a nutshell. I'm giving my life for this. I don't know what's going to happen to me or how long I have. I don't know. My stomach's been getting worse by the day. It could be cancer. I don't know what's going on. My battery's dying, so I have to end this now. But listen, whatever happens, I'm still hoping to go to seminary. I'm still hoping to at least be a religious brother. Maybe a Cistercian or a monk or something. I don't care at this point. I just want to be with God and His people. I want to continue doing this where I'm wanted and useful. In the meantime, God might call me home and say, well done, your time's up, you did what you needed to do, and that's it. So, no matter what happens, I'm still going to try to learn my fife and drum stuff while I'm here, even if I'm sick. I'm not very good at it, but I would like to do it, something before I die. And I'm probably going to be here till I'm 70, but who knows? I don't know what tomorrow or 5 minutes from now is going to bring, and it is scary when I think about it. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best. I know that God's not so focused on my comfort and what I want, but what He needs me to do, and that's more important, and getting me to heaven. That's what's most important. That's what He cares about, is my soul. He's not exactly promising me roses and comfort and luxury. Maybe I'll be like Joseph in Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, who I played, I was in the show years ago. his family treated him the way mine did too. Maybe that's going to happen, and then one day I'll have a very happy ending. I have a feeling my happy ending's not going to be until I'm in heaven, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe Jesus will return soon in my lifetime, and I will be still among those standing, and I will be allowed to be here on earth for his 1,000-year reign, where there will be no death and no pain and no tears. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be heaven on earth for 1,000 years. And then, unfortunately, for a short time, with God, short time could be a long time. Like, again, a year is 1,000 years to him, or a day is 1,000 years to him, and all that, right? So he's going to unleash Satan one last time to test us one final time after this 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth. Then, if we are still faithful to God, whoever, because he's going to take a lot more people down with him after that 1,000 years, then whoever's still standing is going to be in heaven with God for all eternity. New heaven and a new earth forever. Game over, happy ending, and that's it. But we got to get there, and we have a long time ahead of us. So, but at the same time, we only have very little time before our judgment. So if we're judged worthy of heaven, then we have a long time ahead of us. But if we don't, we're going to hell. And that could be within a minute from now, tomorrow. We don't know. So you better get started, and you better start believing in Bible stories, because you're in one. I hope everybody has a happy, blessed Thanksgiving. I will try my best to have a happy one myself. It's not going to be very eventful. Not feeling well. I might work tomorrow if this shift is still available for holiday pay. If I feel good, if I feel like this, I can't go to work. But I would really like to probably make a holy day tomorrow and, probably spend some time in a monastery up the street or something and just do something, for God, giving him thanks. I think that we should not forget that Thanksgiving is to thank God for all of his abundance, for the days of life he's given us, for the time we've been given, and for any time he may still give us. To thank us for the roof over our head, the food that we're eating, the family and friends that we may or may not have. Everything. You can never run out of things to thank God for. And we shouldn't have to wait for one day of Thanksgiving. We should be thanking him every day, which even I don't do that. I keep forgetting. I'm an airhead, and I hope he forgives me, because I'll forget my head if I wasn't attached. It's just negligence. I'm just an idiot. But I feel like the older I get, the more I'm forgetful I'm getting. So I literally forget sometimes to thank and praise God. But I never forget to grumble and complain, though. That's a bad habit I'm working on. That I got to admit, I never shut up with the complaints. Even when I'm talking to God alone, it's like he's got to go through this whole laundry list of all this ass aches and pains and this and that, and Lord, boo-hoo. And then, thank you, Lord, and what would you like to do today? And he's probably like, are you done? Now can I talk? Because you've been yammering on like you always do, and all I hear is complaints and misery and suffering and this and that. And it's like, one time he actually sent this holy woman in church to tell me, because I was complaining to him in my prayers at church, that, Lord, I don't hear you. You're never talking to me. You don't talk to me anymore. And this woman comes up to me and she says, God does try to talk. And I didn't say this out loud. This woman was 20 feet away from me, by the way. I was in the pew. It was a special event, but I talked to him in my mind. I don't talk audibly. I talk to him in my heart. And this woman comes up, she goes, he is trying to talk to you. You just don't listen. He said that you're always talking and you don't listen. You don't hear him. And then she started laughing. She goes, he also said that you make him laugh. And I'm like, at least he's got a sense of humor, because I was upset that time, and I was like practically in tears and nervous wreck about whatever was going on at the time, because there's always some tragedy every day with me. And he was sitting there probably shaking his head laughing like, I don't know why you worry, and I hear you, and I am answering, but you don't shut up, and so he had to send this woman to talk to me and, rebuke me and say, basically, you never shut up to listen. But I'm like, well, I expect to hear him like audibly, like Samuel, because I'm always saying, Lord, give me ears like Samuel so I can actually talk to you. He doesn't talk like that. Very rarely. Sometimes if it's really important, but even when he does that, it's not even audible. I don't hear voices. I can't explain it, but if you, when he does it to you, you'll know. It's undeniable, unmistakable, loud and clear, and it comes from here. It literally comes from like he's in your heart talking through like a sewer drain to, and it gets to here, and it's like you know it, and it's clear because it's like somebody put a thought randomly. Like I could be going down the street listening to a song or singing or talking or praying, whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like somebody changed the channel, interruption, emergency broadcast, and it's like that's not like how did that get in my head? Like that's how it works. It's so clear and it's accurate. And if you don't listen to it, you find out the hard way. Like if he tells me turn here now and I don't, car accident. Should have listened. Or go in there and apply for a job right now. They're hiring. And I go and I'm hired on the spot. Or, you asked for a car, you need a car by tomorrow and you only have $1,000. Go there right now. Go into that store. Tell the woman that you have $1,000 and you want to buy that truck that's for sale right now and it's yours. She's not going to do that, Lord. There's a $3,000 price tag on it. Go in there and do as they say. And then I argue and fine. And I turn the car around and I go over there. I'm like, this isn't going to work. And I go in there and I walk out with a $1,000 car. I swear, these things happen to me. You listen to him when he talks to you. It's not all the time. But you know when it's him because the fruit of it is always good. I don't know why we always say fruit. Why can't it be like, I don't know, we got to come up with a better word than you know them by their fruit. But, sorry, Lo, I'm not trying to upset you, but some people, like atheists, don't understand when you're talking about fruit. It's like the fruits, it's a God thing. It's a Bible thing. You'll know them by their fruits. The fruits of their labor. If they're laboring for evil, then you're going to have rotten fruit. It's going to be a bad turnout. But if they're working with the Lord and they're doing good things and they're holy, they're going to have a good harvest, a good fruit. Bad fruit and good fruit. Good Christians are good fruit. Bad Christians or fake Christians or atheists are bad fruit. And it's kind of obvious when you're in a grocery store if something's rotten and moldy or if something's fresh. God wants us to be fresh, good fruit, not bad fruit. So when you do something and you get a good result, a godly result, that's good fruit. You can trust it. But if you do something and you think it's the Lord and it's really the devil, it's going to end up in disaster and it's going to be bad fruit and you're going to know it. And then you're going to wish you didn't, so you have to have discernment. It's trial and error. Listen, it's taken me 40 years to get this and I still have a lot more to learn. It's trial and error. It takes a long time. So you got to get started now. And as you do this and you're serious about it, a little at a time, every day, God's going to make you the man or woman He has destined for you to be. But it might require a change of living conditions. It might change a job, change of everything. You might lose your health. You might gain it. You don't know with God. But He knows what each one of us need in order to be saved, to be sanctified, to be changed, to become the person. It's like going through a fiery furnace, like tweaking. And He knows like what He has to cut, like surgically cut the rot out of us, the evil out of us. It's like going through surgery with Him, or peeling an onion back, a rotten onion, until you get to the good core. And God's gotta, with each one of us, He knows how to test us and try us and prove us and make us go through stuff. And gee, Steve, you still with me after 40 years of this? You must really love me then. Prove it. Because here's another 10 years of terrible stuff. But if you're still standing at the end, you're well done, my good faithful servant. You're going to heaven. And then I will reward you for the 40, 50 years of torture you went through for my sake. But if you give up, then you know what? You're not going to make it, and you're not going to get a reward. You're going to hell with the rest of them. So don't give up. And so I hope this is inspirational. I'm still sitting here sick and in pain right now, and tomorrow I might feel good again. I don't know. But I do know that I could sit here and complain about it or just go to sleep and waste my day, or I could be working for God from home, right, like I'm doing now, and hopefully helping people with this preaching. And, this is fellowship right now. This is church if people are watching, and we're coming together and we're sharpening. Iron sharpens iron. I'm teaching you stuff. I'm encouraging your faith, I hope. It's not always going to feel like you want to praise God or preach. You're not always going to feel like praying or trying to be optimistic. You just have to, because life will ruin you if you don't remain positive and try to turn lemonade out of lemons. You know, life's going to give you lemons. You better learn how to love lemonade and make lemonade or whatever. Make something with it because that's all you're going to get. I've learned that my whole life is a rotten freaking lemon. I'm trying to salvage the good parts and make stuff out of it. And that's what I'm doing, and that's what this is. I'm doing the best I can for God and for all of you right where I'm at. Because if I was in seminary right now, I would be studying and praying for you all and trying to become a good priest. I'm not right now. We have a delay or a detour. I may never get there. So I have to do it now. It's now or never. If I die tomorrow, I'm never going to get the chance. So I'm doing it now. Where I'm at the level I'm at, with the knowledge I have, the best I can, and you can't expect anything more from me. God's not going to demand anything more from me. He knows my heart. He knows my intention. He knows I'm doing the best I can right now, today, where I'm at. He's not going to ask any more of that. At least if I die tonight, he's not going to say, what did you do today with the time I gave you? Did you do anything for me to glorify me, to teach people about me, to praise, to lead souls to me? Did you do anything good for your fellow man? Or did you sleep and complain all day? So at least I can say, Lord, no, I preached for hours. I mean, I was telling him every reason. I was telling him my personal testimonies as to why I'm such a believer, how I know it's true, give you glory and thanks and praise, and to get them to want to do the same, to trust you and to start following you. And I did the best I could by my own example, by my own word, by my own personal testimony and life experience. That's all I can do. That's all I've got. And he's probably going to say, well done. I hope. But who knows? He might say, Stephen, now you're doing it at 40. You should have been doing it all along. Go to hell. I don't know. But I'm not going to take a chance. I'd rather fight. I'd rather try hard to make it there than to have him say you didn't even try. You know, like that parable about the talents. You know, one man was given 1 talent, one person was given 2 talents, and one was given 5. And then, long story short, when the master came to collect, the guy with 5 talents had doubled it and made another 5, so he had 10 talents to give the master. The other one had doubled it and gave him 4 talents for the 2. And then the other one didn't do anything with his talent. He wasted time, he buried it in the sand, and then he gave it, the one that he was originally given, back to this master, and his master was mad, and he said, you didn't double this and give me back 2. Okay? You could have at least put it in the bank instead of burying it, so I could have at least collected interest on it. Go to hell, like where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth, you lazy servant. And then he took that talent from the lazy servant who was condemned and gave it to the one who had 10. He said, those who have been given much, more they will be given more. Those who have little, even what they have will be taken away. In other words, you want God to be able to trust you with more than 1 talent, and no matter what he gives you, you better make good on it. Don't waste it. Don't waste your time. Don't bury it. If he gives you the gift of preaching and evangelizing like he gave me, and he gave me a mouth, instead of using it to slander, gossip, and curse people, you use it for his glory and teach about him and praise him and worship and sing songs to him, and you use it for good. That's your talent. Don't bury it. Don't go wasting it in rap music and helping people go to hell. You know, otherwise you're going to go to hell. But if you did good with what he gave you, you're going to go to heaven, or he'll give you more. You know, so he's got to be able to trust us. So he gives us a little at the start, and then he'll give you more. But he also said, be careful about asking for more, because to those who have been given much, whether it's wisdom, talents, grace, supernatural gifts, whatever, much more will then be expected and required of you on Judgment Day. So if God gives me all the gifts of the Spirit, I can speak in tongues, I can sing, I can prophesy, I can whatever, and I only use 2 of those or none of those, I'm going to hell, and he's going to say, you lazy servants, I gave you a lot more than I gave your neighbor next to you who only had 1 gift, and he did a lot. He doubled it. I gave him the gift of preaching, and that's all he did was preach. I gave you a lot more responsibility, and you failed. And I expected a lot more from you, because if I give you 5 talents, then I know that you can handle it, and you're going to give me 10 or 11 back. But if I give you 1, that's because I know that you could probably only handle 1. But I don't give you more than is expected. that then you can handle, because I created you and I know what your capacity is. But if I give you something and you don't make good of it, shame on you, you wicked, lazy servant. You only live for yourself. You go to hell with us weeping and gnashing of teeth. Look, it's not rocket science, people. If you don't believe it, you think these are just stories that somebody made up 2,000 years ago because they had nothing better to do, they didn't have Facebook or something, you're wrong. These stories are still as true today as they were then. They're testable. They work. You can put them to the test. They make sense. If they don't make sense to you, then ask God for the gift of wisdom and understanding of His Word so that your eyes will be open and you will understand. Because I got to tell you, when I first started reading the Bible, it read like stereo instructions, and I'm not a reader, so I hate reading. I fall asleep when I read it. If I don't have interest in something, and I started reading the Bible, and I'm like, I never got anything out of it. I had to ask God one night, I'm like, Lord, please, you read this Bible with me. Give me the ability to want to read it, first of all, because I don't want to read it. It's boring. I don't like reading. And two, I don't understand it, so give me the ability to understand it so I can read it and get something from it, because on my own, it's like, I'm not getting anything. All of a sudden, I went and I started reading it, and I couldn't put it down. I read that thing for 8 solid hours one night, and everything was like, suddenly the words were like clicking, and it was like I'd already read it before, but what I read this time with His grace came alive. The words were like jumping off the page, and it was like alive. That's what He means by the living Word of God. Literally, just by reading that word, it changes you. It does stuff. It's amazing. And no matter how many times you go back and read the same section, you're learning more and more and more. It's like a never-ending book inside of a book inside of it. It just keeps going, and light bulbs keep turning on in your head, and you keep seeing things from every different angle, and each one is just as important and makes even more sense. It's amazing. I don't know how God does it. He's just God, and we'll never know because we're not God. But I'm telling you, you can trust it. Just go with it. Just take the brakes off and go. Because, you're not going to get anywhere unless you do that. That's what faith is. Taking a leap of faith. Just doing it and believing even though there's no reason to. There's no guarantee. Then you'll see. But if you don't have faith, you're not going to see. You're not going to ask. If you don't have faith, ask for it. He'll give it to you. Whatever you need, ask Him and let Him decide, and He'll get it to you. But if you don't believe in God, how are you going to ask Him for anything? How are you going to have faith in the first place? That's your problem right there. You want to know Him? You want to know that He's real? Ask. Ask for faith. Start doing what He commanded. Just do it anyway, even if you don't believe it at first. You'll see. You'll see. It's going to happen. Don't do it, then remain ignorant and walking around in the dark and just with your own thoughts and ideas and philosophies in life, and then you'll find out the hard way, and you're never going to have a full life. You're always going to be traveling through your whole life feeling unfulfilled and unhappy. Like, isn't there more to life than this? I mean, this is it. This is the American dream. Got a family, okay. Got a house, got a job I'm pretty good at, okay. But that's it. Like, there's always going to be an emptiness inside. But me, right? Like, I'm suffering a lot. Family, lost everything, even lost my vocation. I don't even have a home right now. I'm living with someone else. I mean, it's pretty bad. This is the worst I've ever been. But I got to tell you, as terrible as it is, there is something that I have now that I never had when everything was going good in my life. When I was young and healthy and good looking and had any girl I wanted and the car of my dreams and the career of my dreams, and I had everything, right? I'm hanging out with celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio and all that stuff. But there was a void in here. I can't explain it. I didn't even know it was there until I started walking with God, and He filled it. And now I'm like, I don't need any of that. I no longer really desire any of that. I really don't. Now I desire only what I need to survive. A roof over my head, a nice warm bed, I'm happy. Food, I'm happy. Now, that sense of fulfilling, that fulfilled feeling, literally comes when I'm preaching, when I'm at church, when I'm at adoration, when I'm praying for the dying, when I'm holding their hand at their deathbed and they're looking at me and they're scared and I'm telling them you're going to meet Jesus, and they smile and they die in my arms, that I'm fulfilled. When I'm praying and when God's showing me amazing signal graces and stuff, I'm fulfilled. There's something that I still have that I will always have now, that money and status and material and family and everything, jobs, whatever, could never satisfy, could never give me. It was never enough until I learned the secret of less is more. And the less you have, the more you have in some ways. You have more of God, less of the world, less things to have to worry about and take care of and work for and pay taxes on, more free time for God. And the more you of God you have, the more you feel a sense of purpose, a reason for living, a desire to live, a love of neighbor and of enemies, of God, of other people. It's like you have to empty yourself out of yourself and out of the world, worldly things. Like empty yourself out. Imagine yourself as a jug of water, toxic water, sewage, and you empty it out so that you can fill it up with clean, pure water, with God, with what's really important in life. And you're happier. You have that, even on your worst, most painful, saddest, scariest day, you still have this underlying sense of God, of fulfillment, of love, of joy, of peace that really cannot be explained. It is peace and joy of the Lord that is unexplainable. Even though you might be dying, you have that. That's God. That's what you could hope for. It keeps you going. It's like you feel life within your veins. You literally can feel a life force. Even if your body's falling apart and you're in terrible pain and you're dying, you still have that. I have that in here. I can't explain it in words. It's almost like it feels like the size of a tennis ball, and it's in your heart, and it's like, I feel it now, like a sense of love, warmth, compassion, comfort, fulfillment, a satisfaction. It's like, have you ever been so hungry and then it's like Thanksgiving dinner and then that sense of, not to the point where you're so overfull that you're sick, but that point where you've eaten so much that you're content. Like you don't need another thing to eat and you're just so happy and you're in bliss and everything was so good and you are fulfilled. You're like filled. Or if you want to be gross, an orgasmic climax, okay? Like you just had sex with your wife and that sense of that ecstasy that you feel after you're done. I really don't mean to have to talk like this, but I don't know how to explain it in human terms. It's better than all that. That sense of, that itch is scratched, it's a relief, tension gone, like everything's good right now. Your best high, if you're a drug addict, your best high, or whatever people are trying to achieve. To fill that void is filled. Like, don't you want that? Like, can you imagine never having to masturbate or have sex? Because you're filled. Never really hungering for food, really, other than what you need, because you're filled. Never desiring much in life, money, sex, drugs, fame, fortune, love, admiration, because you're filled. Like, you're content. The word is content. That's the best I can explain it. I mean, I'm not happy right now in my life. Don't get me wrong. But there's a sense of contentment that doesn't leave me no matter where I am. And I like to think that that's the Holy Spirit or God or my purpose in God that is always with me now. Like that void is filled. The devil's not in there. It's not an empty void or vacuum any longer. It's filled with stuffing right now. It's filled. And it's almost like sometimes you can be so filled that it's like overflowing. Like you want to just radiate it out onto everybody else like I'm doing now. Like I'm so filled, I got to tell everybody about it, and I want you to experience this. I want it to overflow, grace of God, blessings to overflow from me into you, and then ignite you like a forest fire. It only takes a spark, right? Or some idiot to throw a cigarette, and then all of a sudden you burned half of California. Well, we want to start fires with the Holy Spirit, love of God in you and kindle in you. So I want to take this fire from inside me and have it overflow into you now, so that you'll be sparked and then you'll have a fire, and then you can't wait to go and tell everybody what you know and about God and how good He's been to you and all that stuff. Like that's what the purpose of this is. I understand a lot of you aren't there. It's not easy. I'm only there now because I had a chance to hear myself talk for 2 hours to you guys, and I needed to be reminded of all the good things that God has done, even though I'm in a dark period right now. I needed to hear again myself, all the things God has pulled me through, all the things God has done for me. And so I should have hope that he'll still do it again. Somehow, in his own way, in his own time. But, so I have reason to be happy right now. I wasn't happy when I first started this video, but now I'm feeling happy because I have that satisfaction, that content that I did a good job today. I did what I was meant to do. I'm doing it right now. I'm happy. I'm happier than a pig in slop because this is when I'm truly happy, because I'm in the Lord, for the Lord, preaching the gospel, preaching the good news, giving people a reason for faith, the reason to believe. I'm doing what I was created to do. And even though I might not have a collar on right now, and I might not be in religious life right now, I'm doing the next best thing that I can. And you can take the seminary away from me, but you can't take Jesus away from me. You can't take the knowledge and wisdom that comes from his word away from me. It's in here. And that's why people aren't going to fool me with hypocrisy and heresy and all this modernizing, progressive garbage that you're teaching these young seminarians. It's not going to fly with me. And that's why you told me I'm not formable anymore. I'm too traditional, too rigid. Yeah, there's nothing more to form. I know the truth. It is what it is. Now I got to walk it. I got to obey it. God said, do not go left or right or front or back. Keep going. That's it. You don't stop. It is what it is. That's it. I said it. I meant it. Do it. Period. Don't give me garbage. Just do it. No sass-mouthing. Don't sass-mouth God. Just do it. Do what he says. The Blessed Mother said at the wedding of Cana, do as he said. I don't care how ridiculous it sounds. I don't care if he tells you to stand on your head. He said, fill these jugs up with water. Do as he said. And they turned into wine because they obeyed. Try doing it God's way for once instead of your way. Stop arguing and refuting and letting your mind think, nah, it's not going to work. He won't answer me. I'm too bad. I'm too evil. I'm not a saint. I'm not a religion. Shut up. Just do it. You got nothing to lose and all of eternity to gain. And then some. Do it. All right, I'm done. Don't make me bang you guys over the head with my Bible, because I will. I love you. Happy Thanksgiving. Pray for me. I definitely need it. I can't even imagine the demonic attacks I'm going to have to deal with after this video. God bless.